Believe it or not, folks, it's about that time. It's what me and my friends like to call back in good land, Friday! Let's go! We love you, Friday. Thank God for you. Yes. Yes! File in here, folks. File in. Let's go. Let's get it. It's Friday, and we're happy for it. Feels good. End of the week feels good. You know why it feels so much better, though, than normal? Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Transition. What? We're not lagging all over the place. We fixed the NAS, folks. Let's go. We got the server fixed. We got the server fixed. That's right. Ah, God. Feels so good. Thank you. Thank you. Holy crap, guys. You have no idea how good it feels. You want to know what's funny? Y'all want to know what's funny? To fix the NAS. To fix the NAS, one of the services on... So, like, each of these servers have their own software. Like, their own operating system that's running in the background, like Windows. This software has its own apps that you use to work with the server. So, clearing out storage, allocating different pools of storage to different places, sharing permissions and throttling and all that kind of stuff goes through apps. One app, my friends, one app allows you to create your own network. In fact, I think everybody should grab one of these things. Just because this is probably going to be how we do it in the future. Nobody's going to trust these freaking companies. One app allows you to create your own drive. So like Google Drive, but it's yours. It lives independently of everything else. It's only on your server, but you could search it and use it just like Google Drive. This is what I use to communicate with my editors. This service was saving and storing snapshots of itself without saying anything about it. And so when I was finally able to delete the app in order to free up the storage, I was working with the person who works at the company. It cleared up 8 terabytes. 8 terabytes of storage. Oh my gosh. So that's why this doesn't lag everything all the time. And that means that things should start to get back to normal. Gameplay should start to show up again on the Space Tomato Plays channel. The stream should stop lagging as much. I'm gonna get to redo OBS so we make that run better. And our whole quality of life has improved. I think things are gonna get kind of back up to speed and we'll be able to do more things. We wanted to push back the streamathon partially because we're doing a protest tomorrow, partially because we didn't want to have to deal with all of this server stuff at the same time. So that kind of stuff's also easier. So yeah, thank you everybody for your patience while we figured that out and got that all done. 8 terabytes of what, dude? Literally just like a bunch of project files. Premiere Pro project files, After Effects project files, footage from CIG, footage from gameplay, all of it. Everything that we saved and transferred to each other was getting backed up every single time we transferred it. So I would send a project to my editor. He would edit it all, put all the footage in there, which every single project you have to, let's say there's like, I want to get one shot from this trailer on the screen right now. I want to get the shot of the laser firing. That's like 2 seconds of footage, but you still have to save the entire video in the project. So for every project, every video that ever had a shot from it was getting replicated over and over again. And I'm like, why guys? Why isn't this an opt-in feature? Year of instability has arrived. Hey, thank you so much for getting us started early. Patrick Meyer, for the membership over on YouTube. Got Calucid with the Prime Twitch sub over on the Twitch. Thank you for the support, guys, and the bits from Maverick and Thawky. You guys. Lee Bob with the super chat over on YouTube. Thank you. Better be a Titan suit in the topics of the day today. Hi, how are you? I am good. I gotta say, ever since playing with the Geo with Red Monster, working on getting that into a gameplay video now that we finally can again. I am really excited. These exosuits are actually more fun than I thought they'd be. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more of that. thought it was 8 terabytes of tomato hot tub food porn. No, that is a... Wait, hot tub or hot tube? Because when you're talking about food porn, it could be both. You made a discovery last night. Nursa can be loaded into the cargo bay of the Reclaimer. For danger salvaging. By the way, folks, thanks for getting in here early. Appreciate y'all. Maverick, of course, was blessing the Toes gang before we even started. Much love, dude. Rift, I see you. Geomancer, Kozak. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Anunzi and AAK. AAK, how's your medical going these days? Shifty, I saw you over on YouTube. Thank you. Space Guy, Disowned. Max Minef. Flopalore, Nathan. Fola. My man in Toes gang. Hustle Bones. Space Guy, Deplorable. James, Death Factor. Spark, Stacy. Hi, y'all. Welcome in. Vogel, good to see you as well. You know how it is, guys. Just giving a couple minutes for everybody to get in here. How's your weeks going? What have you guys been... Uh-oh. Water bottle down. What have y'all been up to this week? Ah, come on. Just stand up. Stop. Nobody ever knew a water bottle that couldn't stand up so well. Yeah. How's your days going, everybody? Well, I said weeks. How's your weeks going? Medical is dead, AAK? Well, I was hoping for better than that. Honestly, it's actually kind of crappy how many of our basic services we need to make this game work don't work right now. Like bounties. Like there's just no law system. There's no medical system right now. It's a bummer. When are we getting a food crafting atlas? Like a food truck, but on legs. What's my 3 months? What's my take 3 months into this year and CIG for the rest of this year? That's a lot. That's a lot to answer. I think they're doing okay. To be honest, I think the video that I am working on to come out on Tuesday kind of explains that fairly well, I would say. It's, I think they're doing a good job, but they need to keep the momentum that they have right now in order for this to be a good year. They got off to a pretty decent start. Stability's been a little bit rough, but I think they're hitting a lot of important things. And as we read this monthly report, you'll see that they've got good development going on, but they need to start presenting that. They need to get the EPTU running. Trying to get back into Star Citizen, Dabs. You taking a break? Revicara finished work for the week. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Can we get a congratulations to Revicara and really anybody else who is getting off work for the week. It feels good, man. Feels good. Derek, good to see you. Been hell at work, so some nice refreshing tomato is welcome. Happy to help. Happy to provide. You don't think the ironclad for Drake Defense Con? No, I do not. Someday mining will work again. Is mining not working for you? At least on Wednesday it was working. You think CIG should nerf the F8C a little more? Just because FS right? Yes, I do. I think the F8C should be beatable by an Aurora. Why aren't things like calling of ships and hangars still not fixed, as they can still wiggle a lot on the platform? I'm gonna guess that's ATC. That sounds like an ATC problem. As someone who stopped around 318, this is a good step in the right direction and got me back. Definitely the more regular content drops are gonna be more interesting than features. Do you think we'll see CIG adding the Wicklow mining gems to other things than the Hathor site, even in vastly smaller quantities? Really feels like they could make nice ooh shiny moments for other loops. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Not only will the minerals, and you could quote me on this. Zoom in. Come here. Zoom in on me. Not only will Wicklow's commodities that he wants spawn in other places in the game eventually, I bet you that he will ask for different things. He's gonna want chocolate someday. He's gonna want some gold, but like special gold. You know for a fact he's gonna be like, he will be one of those characters that changes every quarter or every couple patches or every year or something, asking for different things so you can always keep going back. That's too much of a, it's too easy, right? To just put him in and not have him change the things he's asking for. Yeah, he wants some socks. Wants some socks, some nice toes socks. Toes gangs. Top toes. No, what's another T word? Top toes. Trainer. Could you call socks a toes trainer? Top toes trainer. Space Tomato socks still available. There we go. Maverick's got you. Exclamation point toes if you want to check out our socks. They are our first and most important creation, I would say, except for the full-size tomato outfit that Mrs. Tomato designed. And the jersey. GII jersey is actually pretty freaking cool. No cookies are spoken for. I want to make cookies on a cooking stream soon. I'm petitioning Mrs. Tomato for it. Ooh. Genuine question, will CIG ever be able to release a patch without breaking the game? Genuine answer, yes. Eventually the game will be stable. It's stable enough to not break during a release of a patch. We've had some good releases though. Like the 3.17-ish period. What was it? 3.17 was very good releases because they were just stabilizing 3.16, which was stabilizing 3.15. I think it was like 3.22 also was fairly good. Your buddy got gifted. Oh, your buddy gifted you VKBs last year. Asked you to help on Discord. You obliged, became friends with, and gifted with dual VKBs on holiday. Oh, your Star Citizen buddy. Hey, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what community is, right? Supporting each other, giving each other company, listening to each other, talking to each other. Like, you kind of miss that a lot. We need more of that in life. That way people don't hate everybody. SC is already much more stable than what the PTU was years ago. 3.17 was when you joined SC, and then 3.18 happened. Yeah, well, you joined during the period of instability. Like, for anybody who's kind of newer to Star Citizen, the last 2 years or so, I want to say almost to the date now. Since 3.18 came out, we have been in a vast period of instability that I think everybody should take with a grain of salt, because it's not how the game, I mean, even saying it's a little disingenuous, because even though it's a period of instability, the game still technically performs better than it did before then. There's just a lot more stuff that can go wrong. And like, anybody who has joined after 3.17 is probably has a worse view of the performance of Star Citizen than people who were playing around this period. I think it was like 3.12 to 3.17 was like the golden period of, hey, things are kind of working and doing okay. We got Reputation in there, so like we were freshly kind of learning about how factions would work a little bit. You're getting mining updates here and there. They were playing with the combat in the game a little bit more, so like ship combat was getting better. We finally got inventory and loot. Healing was coming in. New locations, all that jazz, and then boom, bang, boom, Rivers, freaking water guy was making hits. We could sell things back to shops. Oh my god. The combination of being able to loot things and then sell them suddenly meant we could actually like make money. Just like running around and grabbing stuff. Like it was solid. It was okay momentum. It wasn't what we wanted or needed. We needed server meshing around this time. But like the game was actually performing fairly well, and there were some useful features coming in. And don't get me wrong, there's always drama, there's always a problem. But once 3.18 hit, it's you can literally see it right here. It slowed down for like a good almost the whole year. Man, what a crazy year this was. It wasn't until like 3.22 that it started to feel okay again. And then 3.23 came in and like was kind of okay, but then 3.24 was rough, and 4.0 is rough, and 4.1 has been kind of rough. So there's been this like up and down since 3.18 that I think once we can stabilize on server meshing, people are going to be like, oh, okay, here's what's underneath. Done a better job getting the patch out of dumpster fire state before it leaves Evo these days. Yeah, they got to get all the way there though. Yeah, it's kind of sucky that ISC is not as consistent as it was before. They are in full crunch mode. CIG, well, this is just a theory. I don't actually know that, but CIG, it feels like, is genuinely on their development grind right now. And I mean, good for them. I hope it's healthy for everybody. But it's certainly like an energy of, okay, we need to make a serious release and get there pretty soon. You've had decent luck playing the last few days, minus your minerals getting stuck to your cargo grids, and being a total loss after days of refining. Refining's always been frustrating. They literally just started actually marketing the game somewhat properly. Yeah, 3.23 was the first time I feel like they released a real patch trailer. But yeah, the marketing is, yeah, getting there. CitizenCon info when is a very good question. Guys, I don't know, guys. It is now April 4th, and I'm pretty sure it was last year on maybe it was April 12th. Let's see. It was certainly like this week or next week last year that they made their announcement about CitizenCon. Here we go. The lovely month of April. April 15th. No. April 8th. No. Here we are. CitizenCon 2954 FAQ. When did this come out? Think they're saving all this stuff for CitizenCon? Well, if they have one, what date was this? Oh my god, I hate it when they don't put freaking dates on their things. Why are there no dates on? See, like, this is one of those systems that was designed years ago. Although we had dates years ago, so I'm not really sure. All right, this will tell us. Last but not least, Thursday has a deluge of information headed your way to prepare you for this year's CitizenCon in Manchester. So Thursday would have been the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th? No, the 3rd, 4th, 5th. So yeah, April 5th of last year. Literally yesterday, last year, was when we, is it 4th? 5th. Oh, God. I'm terrible. Wait, isn't Monday the 2nd? Oh! Wait, what? This doesn't even make any sense. I'm not an idiot here, right? I'm not like having an aneurysm. They marked this as April 3rd, which is the Monday when This Week in Star Citizen comes out. But down here it says Tuesday is April 2nd. So whatever. Either way, it was this week last year. So there's clearly like there's a holdup on that, and this is just joining the holdup on. No, it's not about the year, guys. It's literally it went back in time, from the 3rd to the 2nd. But this is also joining the holdup on the financial information. Like, what's going on, CIG? I'm not gonna say you guys have to give us all of the information, but you gotta start to explain things when there are multiple things starting to back up that normally happen every year at the same time, because that's just the expectation you built into the community. And the longer you take to say things like that, the more anxiety builds. That's just how anxiety works. Sorry about it. I've seen it. I've had anxiety. We all know how it goes. Throw a couple bones out to chew on. I mean, just literally come out and be like, yo, we're having, we had a weird year financially. We acquired Turbulent. We're trying to figure out how that looks on the spreadsheets, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But say it. And then, yeah, with the CitizenCon, I mean, this is the first time, again, last year, this is when they officially announced it. I know everybody is remembering that it was mentioned in January and February. That's because 2024 was a year of hype for CIG. They were trying to say all the things. We were supposed to be getting hacking in the EPTU, and we were going to see the just engineering in 4.0 and server. Like, there was a lot that they wanted to do last year, and they were hyping it up towards the beginning of the year. But the official announcement of the CitizenCon happened in April. So at this point, we're now like, okay, it's late. And it might not be happening. But until they say something, we don't know. They also, I think, did something else yesterday, rewarding people for EPTU stuff. Maybe they uploaded This Week in Star Citizen later in the week. Yeah, that could be it. Oh yeah, Mrs. Tomato already announced a tomato con if there's no CitizenCon. And it's literally just going to be everybody brings tomatoes and we all crush them together in our hands. And scream, I held the line. Maybe they're doing a digital event? Possible. Still should put out an announcement about it. Save the Date was announced last February. Did they actually announce it last February? Then I'm completely wrong. I thought this was their announcement. What was me? Sorry, guys. The old in case you missed it sale. First during the roadmap roundup, maybe. Was it like an email? Oh, via email. Okay. So yeah, they had sent out an email in February too. Yeah, so definitely several signs that CitizenCon is not happening this year, but we'll see what happens. Honestly, I would completely understand if they didn't want to do CitizenCon this year. Of all years, this year is probably their most crunchiest and the one that they're trying to push the hardest to actually get things figured out and done. So I could see them avoiding that distraction. But I'm sure they will have something to make up for the marketing windfall that creates, because CitizenCon does a lot for marketing. I mean, 2023 as a year in terms of people's excitement was awful until CitizenCon. That made a huge difference. But we're not here for CitizenCon, are we? No. We're here for the monthly report. Y'all already read this? Everybody already gotten a chance to check this out? I've done a little bit of skimming, and I actually had Paul's stream up last night on the TV. I was kind of falling asleep, but I did have his up, and I think he got into the monthly report at some point. So I know, I mean, everybody got their freaking monthly reports videos out. Dude, I'm like finding out the monthly report is coming out, and then I'm seeing videos covering it already on YouTube. I'm like, I'm still working on my video from last week. Give me a moment. The YouTube scene in Star Citizen is very intense at the current moment. It yeah, it's funny to see. Just get Squadron 42 out the door so focus completely comes back to Star Citizen. Focus will never be completely on Star Citizen, unfortunately. Hope they do on an online event with in-game rewards. That'd be cool. Hey, oh, before we get into this, you guys remember last stream when I was like, hey, they should do points for people who are participating? See, this is where those would come up. Instead of getting a ship, you would just get like a vast amount of points that you could put towards redeeming something else. Because I don't know, like maybe you don't want a vulture. Maybe you would much prefer a terrapin. I guess it's the look. Beggars can't be choosers. That's not true. These aren't beggars. They're winners. Winners can't be choosers. Can they? Not in this situation. Winners can't be choosers. You take the ship you get. Like, what's it gonna matter anyways? They're all nice ships. They're all pretty good to use, and you can just melt them and get another ship, right? So you don't need a point system. But this is where I was kind of thinking it would come in if they did something like that. I hope they don't. Genuinely, as the person who suggested it, I hope they don't. Jono, thank you for the sub, and Colt with the 100 bits. Appreciate y'all. Just that's something I'm still not getting on my audio side is the alerts from you guys. It's Squadron 42 Part 1, so their focus will be on Part 2. I'm thinking while I know they're going to transition to Part 2 if Part 1 makes enough money. I don't know, guys. They're going to have to sell very well for it to make sense. But if they did want to transition to Part 2, I think the company would be much better, would be much better partitioned to take on these projects separately. I don't think there'd be as much, like, of a power struggle between the games and where the development is going. To be quite honest, I think by the time Squadron 42 is coming out, they might be looking to downsize a bit. Maybe. No. Not rest in peace, Tony Z. Tony Z is he's basically retired, though. He's done working there. He's still on the roster officially, but he's done with his work. Probably just consulting at this point. What's up, Dr. G? It finished engine at that point, so making a sequel to it would be way easier. The finished engine part it'd be a very good point. No, I know what you meant by rip, but somebody might think you meant he actually died. Alrighty. Whoops. Just scroll to the end. Okay, all done with the monthly report. Oh, hey, my friends. Hello, YouTube. It is time for the monthly report. Nobody freaking died. A little late on the reading here, but you know how they do. They like to release everything late afternoon now, so we get to it the next stream. But this is really what progress was made in the month of March. Looking at Star Citizen, we've got all kinds of stuff. AI, core gameplay, narrative, economy, all the things. So we're going to start with AI, as we do, and we're going to touch on basically what's been going on. And guys, I think there's some good stuff here. I think there's some big stuff coming and heavily feature related. But let's start where it's a little bit more boring. AI content. No offense, AI. You're actually pretty cool people. For the recent debut of Star Citizen's first alien NPC, Wicklow, AI content worked alongside the narrative design, animation, studio, and audio and character art teams to prototype the character's general and air traffic control behaviors. The team also took a more active role in prepping incoming audio and animation files from recent capture sessions. I like Wicklow. I like literally just what he represents. He didn't even have to be a Banu, but being a Banu is a nice little piece of spice, I guess. Spice of life. Development continued on new behaviors to support some of the story developments happening in the verse in the coming months. Finally, for AI, they revisited issues in the population behaviors of existing landing zones. The story developments happening in the verse, it's kind of... Do we have I don't think we have a video. Or they released one, didn't they? And we are not going to do it on this channel. I'm better than that now. I almost just showed you guys my... Good God. So dangerous to open that browser like that. Here we go.
Imagine. And a few you wish you hadn't.
They talk a little bit about it here, I think. There's like some new narrative.
Over the years?
I mean, this is what it's all about. This is these narrative additions that are coming. A lot of it comes from their focus on getting a lot more people into their motion capture studio, which they've been using for a long time. But it's a very a stark contrast to what they've been saying. We'll see more of proof of this in the monthly report here, but it's a big difference compared to how the game's been developing before, which was all very base level, all very focused on initial implementations and bare minimum functionality. Now they're talking about getting more and more of custom NPCs, specific faces of factions, actual audio, and motion capture for kind of more basic AI, which I think is going to make a pretty big difference over the next several months. Toes. Yeah, Wickelow's just on the he's just on the voice call. Or the video call. Yeah, he's got you. He's got you, Ananzi. In March, AI features priority was the Valacar, specifically the juvenile variant. As part of the polishing phase, new functionality was added to support upcoming gameplay, including replacing ineffective melee attacks with the submerge and relocate behavior when the player gets close. Huh. New burrowing modes were also added that allow the creatures to submerge on the spot rather than dive into a new position. It's nice to have Fauna being added in. It's not a big addition. It would have been a big addition 2 years ago, but we've had Fauna since the beginning of last year now. They're starting to slowly flesh it out. This is key because Fauna are huge sandbox opportunities for the game. Every single piece of Fauna means A, somebody new to fight, B, something new to worry about, and 3, more crafting materials that you can collect. So this kind of stuff just overall, I think, builds into the universe of Star Citizen, and it's going to help them a lot more with getting the game fleshed out into a space that feels more like an actual game. And we've seen where this is headed. They've got a lot more Fauna planned.
Swamp environment instead of a desert planet. Or if a Valakar never made it to the surface and only lived in drowned caves. These are the kind of questions that make sci-fi one of the best mediums. And I can hear the questions already. What does an adult cave Valakar look like? What does an apex quasi-grazer look like? Well, it's these questions that get everyone excited that works on creatures to give you a glimpse into the big picture. All of these variances and differences and new creatures make up what we call our fauna matrix. The fauna matrix is basically our creature encyclopedia. So these concepts should show you that we want to get more weird and wonderful with our creatures. We started off with more traditional animal references like dogs and birds and cows. But now we're in a position to create the things that we love about sci-fi, which is the weird and the unknown. So looking at where we're going, all of our creatures have been defined for the road to 1.0. We've ensured we've got a rich, diverse, distinct roster of creatures to make each of our planets feel special. As well, as considering the unique elements of various planets, ensuring that they're populated with appropriate creatures. We've been designing creatures in mind so that planets' ecosystems influence their behaviors.
So they had mentioned at some point, I can't remember when, I think it was a Star Citizen Live a little bit later, they had mentioned that there was a biggest creature in the verse, and I think this is it. I don't remember what it was at the time, but they said something that kind of made it sound like this might be it. So I think these might actually be, like, these might come to the game.
Designs, aesthetics,
It's going to be very strange.
With that being said, I would like to give you a sneak peek at our fauna matrix. That's all from me. I'm very happy to be bringing the Valakar to all of our backers. It's really like nothing else you've played before. I'll leave you with this last video. Enjoy the rest of CitizenCon, everybody.
Honestly, those look bigger than the whales. All right, so here's where they want to head with this. Obviously, we all know the Copion that we already have. The Marok we already got. Space Cow. Yo, boy. Look at him, dude. Look how proud this guy is. Look at this smile, bro. He's like, hell yeah, dude. You see my fucking eggs, bro? And Valakar. So they literally laid out, here are the first 5 fauna. And I guess that's finishing with the Valakar. But now it's like, okay, that, like, I don't expect that the way that these creatures start showing up, they're going to appear in the game in that direction. So now, after the Valakar, I think it's a little bit of a mystery what might be coming next. Because this was a very purposeful transition, right? They were clearly showing us how it's progressing. But after this, they're just kind of showing us all of them. So what comes next? Whole bunch of new pets. Yeah, so this is where things are headed with AI, and I think they're doing a pretty good job with the whole fauna thing. We covered this like a year and a half ago. They were looking for somebody who could take their fauna pipeline and turn it into something that would start pumping out creatures, and apparently they found someone. Continuing on, new firing modes were added to give better control over the fire rate and damage per shot depending on whether the target is on the ground or the air. Bespoke firing animation variants were also added when firing at more vertical angles. The team also iterated on the Copion, integrating new chase technology for more effective attacks, including a leap. We'll talk more about the fauna around the game in a bit. We've spent enough time on that, but I'm liking finding them throughout the game now. For human combat, iteration continued on the first reaction flow escalation, specifically focusing on the animation setup for usables so that it works well if the AI is sitting in a chair, leaning on a rail, or crouching to inspect a maintenance panel. Get that inspection, boy. The team also progressed with reaction animations for when the AI detects compromised cover. This allows NPCs to appear more responsive to the actions of the player and react appropriately to new threats. This we also saw at CitizenCon. A very real quick detour. Is it here? So Maelstrom now allows us, well, not now.
And destroying anything just makes the
So
world.
Maelstrom, for those who don't know, is the dynamic damage system that they're working into Star Citizen that is meant to change the way that ships break apart. It's meant to change the way that cover breaks apart. It'll affect how bodies take damage and show wounds. It will apply wear and tear and the ability to break down for your items, for your vehicles, for your weapons, all that kind of stuff. So here they're showing off the system and kind of the progress it's making in the engine right now. I think they're getting, they got it working for Squadron, I think. But probably combining this with all the networking and stuff of Star Citizen is going to make it take a little bit longer. Wizard Actual, hey, thanks for the membership again, dude. Appreciate you, buddy. Welcome to the Carrots.
Here is with the introduction of Maelstrom last year. Obviously, we knew this would revolutionize how you guys are playing. And we did have to find a solution to handle all the destruction you get here. So you would destroy so much stuff in this world that we had to
It's very Battlefield in nature, which, by the way, can I say the new Battlefield that keeps getting leaked is looking pretty freaking good.
find a solution, right? So this is why we approach the coverage generation navigation mesh as it is, because there is just no way for us to predict anything that you're doing, and we want just Maelstrom to be another trigger for word evaluation. So as you see, this is all dynamically generating. And destroying anything just makes the word be reevaluated. So as you see here, we can have also lots of rules, so you can...
I love how when he broke the wall there, it had like the kill confirmed sound. It's just the rock pops off. You can hear it if you listen really closely.
Just makes the word be reevaluated. So as you see here, we can have also lots of rules, so you can see that a bit here. But when things break, first they invalidate, and then when they rest, for example, we can decide when is a good moment to regenerate, so that we also don't waste.
All right, so clearly destructible environments in a game like this are going to be pretty hard to do, but also with all the NPCs moving around in different places, they have to build a system that allows them to react. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't some new revolutionary thing. Like, I don't even think CIG is trying to point this as being something that changes the industry. This is just taking something that you might find in the Frostbite engine, which handles dynamic destruction, already has systems that make AI react to that destruction, and already has all of the other, links in place to make that destruction actually factor into the rest of the game. That didn't exist in CryEngine, and so they are building it for StarEngine right now, which is CryEngine. So when we see things like this, that AI can now detect compromised cover. This is them building the game engine, and it's an advancement that hopefully they will never have to do again, and the kind of things that, like, once we get to a certain point, they can turn to pay attention to other things that matter a little bit more. But this will be good for NPC FPS, and a lot of the locations in Star Citizen have a lot of FPS. Similarly to this, the team is refactoring the response to combat tactic events, such as needing to reload. This is now done within the tactic behavior itself, rather than at a higher level, which allows more customization depending on the current situation, leading to better and more responsive behaviors. Oh? Xylo just reported, "Hi everyone, the team is hard at work on our upcoming milestones and energy is high as we push forward. Squadron 42 is progressing well as we work towards next year's release, and across Star Citizen, our focus remains on delivering meaningful, measurable improvements and fresh content with every delivery. With that in mind, we're doing things a little differently this year. While there won't be a traditional in-person CitizenCon in 2025, it is official. CitizenCon is not happening this year. What the hell? We were talking about this almost basically right after he announced this. That's kind of crazy. It was already there. And we were just talking about it over here. We're excited to introduce CitizenCon Direct. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I have to admit, I'm really sorry. I lied to you all. He didn't say excited. He said thrilled. This is a special digital showcase that brings the excitement straight to you. This year's format helps us keep the momentum going while still giving the community something truly special to look forward to. Holy thank you. Oh my God, this is such a better idea. Oh, thank you. Not gonna lie, is if we can get the news, I mean, look, physical CitizenCon is really freaking fun because of the community and getting to be together. But being able to get the information without them having to put all of the resources into the physical event is probably so much better for the game's development. And now they're going to get to focus on still doing the marketing part of it with the Citizen Direct. Mark your calendars for October 11th. You can expect plenty of reveals, exciting surprises, and a fun way for many of you to take part in the festivities alongside CIG developers no matter where you are in the world. I doubt this is going to be anywhere near the significance of a normal CitizenCon. This is probably going to be like 2021. Maybe this will be like 22, actually. 2022's was a decent delivery, and I think they could do something like that and still get away with like not needing to do as much corralling cats, herding cats. While it's a digital event, that doesn't mean we won't be seeing many of you in person at Bar Citizen watch parties around the globe. More details to come soon. Yeah, there's gonna be still plenty of big meetups. Where can I watch CitizenCon Direct? Twitch and YouTube. How long will it be? Shorter than a digital, physical CitizenCon, but densely packed with exciting content. Yeah, this is going to be like CitizenCon 2022, which... Let's see. CitizenCon 2022... Or am I thinking of 21? I might be thinking, no, yeah, 22. They basically did like a whole bunch of different videos that looked at the different things they were working on. Some of these things still aren't in the game, but yeah. So the CitizenCon leading up to Squadron 42 release is virtual only? Yeah, well, we would hope this is the one leading up to Squadron 42's release, but let's be real. End of 2026 is probably where we're going to see the game go into anyways. It's definitely... It's a bummer for the community aspect of this, but we'll figure something out. We're gonna do Tomato Con for sure. We're gonna have a big meetup and a watch party for this. Yeah. Well, we'll see. There's gonna be a lot to cover that day, so who knows? Who knows how it'll go? But I think, in general, this is probably part of their crunch move. It's their crunchy year, and yeah. Digital CitizenCon. Digicon. Directicons. I don't know. Whatever. There's your CitizenCon news. All right. Now I need to okay. I need to upload that. CitizenCon, oh. For those that need the link. Hey! That's right. You kind of want to read it yourself, huh? Knew it was possible for a while. Still really looking forward to seeing the GII crew again. Yeah, dude, we got all the jerseys now. We gonna wear our GII jerseys out there? Mobbing. It's also gonna make the reunion even bigger than next year. All right, let's see. It's kind of funny. I'm sending a message to the editor about this, about the video I just recorded, but he can watch this. Watch for doing it right here. Anyways, whatever. Back to the monthly report. What a bad move to straight up skip your annual landmark event. I mean, I don't think so. They've done it before, and it did not really affect them too much. I mean, I guess that was because they had to. But in terms of important events, their important events are IAE and Invictus. I would say CitizenCon is actually their third important event because it doesn't make them that much money. Well, it makes them money through hype, and they're not losing the hype part of this. The hype part of this is the information, and they're still giving that out. So they're not really going to lose much from not doing a physical one other than the community aspect, and the community aspect isn't going to release the game, and releasing the game is kind of the purpose. So I think this is a pretty clear decision to make. Although, 'tis a bummer, because we love getting together, having so much fun, and falling on the ground. Mrs. Tomato. All right, let's get back to this. AI Game Intelligence Development Team. What are y'all doing? In March, Game Intelligence Development had two main focuses: the full implementations of views and organization and analysis for Mission System 2.0. Mission System 2.0. For views, future-related tasks are now functional in StarScript, including representation in the script graph. The team also included the new input and output visuals, which makes them more distinctive. While information on the task number was added, an update was also made to the master graph to integrate views into the various functional connected states. This is still a work in progress, with internal testing beginning soon. For the mission system, the devs continued to explore ways to build a system that will be more efficient and simpler for the game designers to use. There are a lot of words there. So what we're looking at here is StarScript. And StarScript is what they have named their older system, which we used to hear about almost every single monthly report. Seriously, if you've been watching these monthly reports or coming to the stream for more than, say, a year, you probably remember very well how every single monthly report, we would go over something called subsumption. And we would look at all these old freaking clips from like way back in 2017 of this terrible interface that, 2018, that like you get what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't look super great to run. So we saw how this kind of developed over the years. And we saw like another version of this actually not long ago. This is 2023. But the first one we saw, this is kind of the system that is used to run AI. It's a logic system. If this happens, go to this. If this happens, go to this. If this happens, go here. But if this happens, go over here. That kind of thing. It's a flow graph. The future one that we saw in 2023, this was for a mission. So this is initializing a mission, comparing the variables of that mission, sending the event to mission instance, making the objects, running the mission, that kind of thing. Still uses the same system, different application. This has all been wrapped up into, well, I guess there was one more chance we got to see of this. This is still 2023, but again, showing another interface of this. This one actually looks a little bit more like the original we saw, but you can see it had this very clear style throughout this whole time. They recently turned this into what is now called StarScript and is going to be running all of this as well, but looks a lot more polished, a lot better to use. And as we've been reading over the last several months, they have been doing quite a bit to make sure that this is more functional for the team and easier to use. So all of these kinds of updates we see where they're talking about StarScript, they're talking about Mission System 2.0. This is all in this kind of internal tool. When you're a really big company, you got to make software for your own company. It's weird. "99% of hardcore SC fans never go to CitizenCon anyway, so there's that." Yeah, but for that 1%, pretty good times. Comic-Con should be online only? No, Comic-Con is not one company. That's insane. But also, like, most people don't need Comic-Con to be physical because they release all the stuff online. You just get all of the people who make announcements at Comic-Con into a room to talk to a camera about their announcements and then post all that online, and it'd have the same effect for most people in the world. It's a con for fans to come together and celebrate things that they love while meeting the people behind the scenes. That's why they're doing Bar Citizens, my dude. Like, they do this, dude, have you read these sections, the community sections? These people literally every single month are hosting things for players to come together. Nashville, Seoul, Korea, Beijing, China, Madrid, Spain, Germany, Lyon, France, Toronto, Canada. And then there's an international day with multiple locations: Copenhagen, Denmark, Nevada, Las Vegas, Tampa, Florida, Cologne, Germany. Dude, of all companies that you're saying need to get out and meet their community, all right. I don't live in those places. Yeah, but Vastin, you live in California. Do you think we're not going to meet up in California? What Bar Citizen are we going to? I bet there's going to be, we'll probably set something up in the Bay Area, maybe. You going to the one in Vegas? Is that is that with Seoul? Yeah, Quantum Vegas, July 12th. Yeah, it's with. I'm grossly misrepresenting what you're saying. You're saying we need a big central event. I'm saying, screw the central event, save your money, make the game, and host organized events elsewhere. I understand that you're saying that there needs to be a central event for everybody. I'm just disagreeing. I think that it's good that they're still going out and meeting the community, and they need to still support that togetherness on that day, but the important part's the information. But also, like, we don't live in Manchester. So, like, we could look at this and be like, well, I don't live in any of these cities, but we don't live in Manchester either. We'd have to fly out to the CitizenCon. You can make a day trip to come to some of these big events, or the big events on the day of CitizenCon. But, you know, whatever. It's unfortunate for some, and I understand. I get the unhappiness. That's fine. AI tech. Last month, AI tech continued to work on features that will improve overall detail and quality, including finalizing work for the spatial priority spatial priority solver, and priority beacon system. AAK, they said beacons. They also integrated these features into the navigation, pathfinder, and tactical point systems to help better prioritize and solve requests sent by NPCs close to players. Regarding tools, work was completed on StarScript views to allow the designers to group behavior functions and callback logic. Following this, work began on visualization improvements for the subsumption. There it is. They said it. They said it. They have to. You can't not say it. You got to say it 3 times. Make it show up. Additional adjustments were made to AI ship logic to enable it to work correctly with the new flight modes. I wonder if that means the changes that we haven't seen yet with operator modes. It must. The team is currently working on NPC cover generation, optimizing places where cover will be generated, allowing it to be marked with various flags for better context during combat scenarios. You know what I just realized? We didn't actually cover the AI moving between cover from Maelstrom. I just kind of showed you Maelstrom. Oh well, just gotta take it and believe it. For the navigation system, the devs fixed various bugs, including issues with tile triangularization, generation cases, and an object container export case related to navigation data. Of course, they're currently progressing with improvements to 3D navigation for spaceships and NPCs in EVA. Didn't I read that last month? Could have sworn I read that like exact sentence. Last month, the AI tech team progressed with work that will allow them to voxelize huge areas for 3D navigation. This will be used to create paths for AI ships and EVAing NPCs. They're currently progressing with improvements to 3D navigation for spaceships and NPCs in EVA. So it's like this, just the same work, they just said it differently. It continues. Them taking a few days out of the year to have a con isn't going to drastically speed up the timeline. They take a long time. I mean, the company, the employees at CIG have specifically said that when they do take time off of CitizenCon, it frees up time throughout that period of the year. Like, they've talked about how CitizenCon adds on time to their development, but it's worth it. And I bet it is, especially before now. Up until probably the last 2 years, there wasn't really a great way to showcase this game because the gameplay just kind of sucked. But at least now you can show gameplay and it looks like something cohesive in ways. So I think there's less need for them to use CitizenCon for marketing. I don't think it's like a straight black and white decision. I think they're probably weighing a whole bunch of different variables here. But I think part of that is like, we can get by without needing to make it an in-person event. Let's do what we did in 2022 so that we're still keeping the marketing, but save ourselves from flying everybody out or showing people the or doing all like the complicated like timings and all those things they have to do, get the venue and pay for that and then decorate and all that stuff. And yeah, they probably just don't want to deal with it in what is a year when investors are like, hey buddy, can you kind of start paying us for our investments? And they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna make a convention first real quick, hold on. No, release the game. That's probably what they would say. All right, animation team. The animation team continued developing various sizes of Valakar alongside making updates to the Copion. That makes it sound like there's gonna be like 17 different variations in size, which I hope there are. They also updated AI background animations and added disabled animations to the Argo Atlas. New AI facial animation content was completed too, including for the Banu mission giver Wikalo. Wonder how different his animations are. The face folds. We got different face folds as tree people. Art on the character side. In March, the character art team continued to work on a new creature for the PU alongside Starware Art Det. They also kicked off new heavy armor and continued creating various rewards. The concept art team also explored ideas for new in-game rewards and armors. I think I saw a thread that mentioned something about Art Det. I didn't realize this is where that was originating from, but I kind of want to see what the answer to it was. Oops. Art Det. Here we go. What is Art Det? Det in the development is work, tasks, sometimes not good, but as well minor bugs that were put into the backlog for the sake of focusing on higher priority items, or tasks and bugs that came up from the work done that was done rather fast and quickly instead of properly due to the time pressure or other reasons and now have to be done properly. Okay, so it's literally just, that makes sense. It's tech debt, but not tech. It's art. I have as associate producer only 2 tech teams, so my teams only have tech debt, not art debt. So cannot say anything about the art debt they have. That would need to be answered by the teams themselves. So this is basically like when things in the game don't look right and they need to get it updated so it looks better. And here they specifically say Starware. I'm not sure if that means like, I know one big part of Starware that we don't really think of when they talk about it, because to be quite honest, it's not. It was probably one of the less exciting panels of CitizenCon. But what they did show us there was the idea of layering our armor and our clothes, or being able to wear clothes and armor at the same time. This is super important for a lot of people. It obviously changes the way that the characters can look.
Ago that I found out that
it changes our ability to do things like wear backpacks while we're wearing clothes, wear hats while we're wearing like a, I don't know, nice chest piece or something. These dances, though. I want to believe these are all Chris Roberts mocapped. But yeah, essentially just the idea of armor and clothes being layered. I'm wondering if that might be part of the art part of this that they're talking about. They also kicked off new heavy armor and continued creating various rewards. We saw that. And more in-game rewards is nice. I think Wicklow is the first time we're getting true in-game rewards for doing something that isn't money. And it's nice because they started talking seriously about that at like CitizenCon 2023, and then they took a long time to do it. Alrighty, art on the ship side. This is the part that gets all the folks excited. This is where I saw all the videos coming from, like within 2 hours of this thing coming out. In March, the UK-based vehicle content team completed the Drake Golem mining ship and the Argo Atlas geo-mining power suit. Got to play with both those on Wednesday. Good times. I kind of like them. The Misk Starlancer TAC moved into the final debate. Hockey. Gunslinger, thank you for the sub, by the way. 15 months on Twitch. Are we talking about my endeavor yet? Not yet. Give me a few more years. Another decade or two. Maverick, thank you for the bits. Yeah, the Misk Starlancer moved into the final development phase. So the Starlancer TAC is definitely coming soon. If you don't know what that ship is, I'll give you a real quick look. I wasn't super interested in it at first. And then I listened a little bit more to what was included in it, and oh my god.
Starlancer attack.
Wait, that's not even this is the max. This looks like one of the best general purpose ships in the game so far. I mean, if you are okay with misc styling, I still haven't spent a lot of time on the interior of this, but it just has so much going on, and it's such a nice size, and it has real Serenity vibes. Is the Max commercial? They just said the TAC, but I guess they were just covering what it looked like then. You know, I'll let them talk us through the TAC a little bit here.
We also have
Talk TAC.
On top, we also have like a dedicated hangar that has been specifically designed to fit a Mirai Fury inside. And I'm sure we will see plenty of other ships try to be fitted inside.
Successful
yeah,
or not.
yeah, we'll see. And I think John's going to run you through the interior now.
So yeah, let's have a look over the TAC from outside to in. So this is the TAC in its default paint, so sort of military drab gray. Then internally, obviously Ben talked about the size 5 turrets. Then we have some drop seats behind, and these are on a deployable ramp, so you can do some ground assault. They will drop out, down. If you're doing a bit of ground assault, chances are someone's probably going to get injured, so there is an onboard medical facility directly behind there with 2 Tier 3 medical beds. Upstairs, obviously, there's the Fury hangar. Behind that is engineering. And then forward of the hangar is the refactored habitation and mess hall area, which is specific to the TAC, just because there's so much other stuff crammed in there. We had to redo the upstairs of it, basically, to fit that in. And we'll go over the more normal layout shortly.
OK, so yeah, to sum up, I think the TAC's obviously going to bring a lot more firepower from the other variants. Its shield's been boosted up to two size 3 shield generators. It's got the med bay with the Tier 3 med beds, drop seats, it's got a hangar, and it's still able to carry up to 96 STU of cargo.
See now,
and you can secure this today by
what
going
does
to
it start to sound like to you? Honestly, it sounds kind of Carrick-like. Med bay, plenty of seats for people to sit in, and like, I know that's not super important yet, but at some point, people are really going to want to just sit down. It's already annoying with the force reactions. Once we have like the physics and gravity settings in the ships, I think it's going to get kind of annoying. So having all those seats you need, you got plenty of defense. You don't have to feel unsafe when you're flying around in this thing. Still plenty of storage, so you can carry things around. Space for a freaking snub fighter for defense or a runabout. And then also, I think space for a small vehicle in the bottom. Like, this is such a great package for like a 4-person crew. I didn't really care much about this thing when they first announced it, but I'm really excited to see it in game, and it sounds like it's pretty much inevitable. I would guess sometime between now and June. This could be their 4.2 ship, or it could be something that they release earlier, possibly at Invictus. Don't know. Elsewhere, the Consolidated Outland Pioneer progressed through White Box, benefiting from the additional concept work shown during a recent episode of Star Citizen Live. This was a great look at some different ships. We saw, this RSI salvaging ship. We saw a little bit of a new Kruger ship, I think. But we also saw plenty of Pioneer work,
compartmentalized with color palette.
which I think does a good job of giving us a better look at Pioneer's finalized, not Pioneer's, Consolidated Outland's finalized design style. It's actually got a decent, it looks like a cross between, let's see, a little bit of Argo with the industrial patterning, I think a little RSI with the kind of utilitarian but nicer design, like not quite Drake. And it's got some of its own language in there. I think this is great. I'm glad that the Pioneer is making progress, but if this ship is hitting White Box, this ship's huge. This ship's absolutely massive, and excuse me. excuse me, if they do not speed it, I mean, they might be trying to go quickly through it, but that's definitely not this year kind of ship. We can say that much. An unannounced vehicle successfully passed gray box review and moved into the Lot 0 phase. Lot 0 is pretty close to released, not quite, but definitely close enough that we could see it at Invictus, or we could see it at a potential 4.1.1 release, because they will be releasing a new ship at the end of this month with the next patch if they stick to what they've been doing. 2 other vehicles received a bug fixing pass and final content work ahead of their release. This is weird. These actually would be our 4.1.1 releases. If they're getting bug fixing and final content, then these are ready to go. So we might be seeing 2 vehicles coming out at the end of this month. It could be a variant of the CSV. It could be, also keep in mind, it says 2 other vehicles, so they're not unannounced. They're not unannounced vehicles. Not necessarily, at least. Yeah, CSV could be the Gray Cat, whatever that buggy was. I don't remember what it was called. UTV. But I don't know what else could be. Gray Cat or an Argo vehicle. Could be the new Atlas platform vehicle. Actually, yeah, that's right. It could be one of these. Where in gosh dang darn? Here we go. So it could be one of these. We got a couple ground vehicles here. I think they're towards the beginning of the video. So it could be this, could be this, could be this. This, I was actually speaking with Trist in the podcast last week about these specific vehicles in this video, and he's pretty confident that this is not one of the CSVs we know about. So it could be any of these 3 ground vehicles if that is the case. We will have to see, but one of these might release in this month. Misfit, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Amazing commercial for the SL Max Fatbird. Nice. Z-Men, thank you for the Prime sub. Much love. Hope you're having a good day. All right. Where were we? Another new ship is currently being prepared for its Gray Box Gate review. I think this could be the Paladin. Maybe. Because in January, we got news. November, December. Yeah, so if you look at November, December of 2024, what they had to say about the ships they were working on was that several upcoming vehicles progress through the white box and gray box stages, including the Consolidated Outland Pioneer, the Drake Ironclad, Anvil Paladin, Starlancer TAC, Argo CSVM, Apollo, and Perseus. Now, look at the ships that we're hearing about today that got worked on in March. We've got the Perseus here. We've got the Apollo here. We've got the MISC Starlancer TAC here. But we're missing the CSV, we're missing the Ironclad, and we also have the Pioneer here. So I think we're just missing the CSV and Ironclad as far as these mentions go. Where were we? Yeah, CSV, Ironclad, and Paladin. These are the only ones that didn't get mentioned here. Now, the Drake Ironclad guys, I'm sorry, but I don't think they're currently working on that. We can continue through this, but I don't think they are. Maybe. The CSV could be one of these. It could be this, one of these vehicles right here, 2 other vehicles that they're mentioning. But the Paladin, I don't really see any other reason for the Paladin not to get mentioned here. Considering it was going through gray white box, it's about the size of the Valkyrie or the Redeemer. It's not a huge ship. I could see this getting through gray box, although hitting its gray box review right now, I don't know if it's going to be able to make it to Invictus. That might actually fall behind Invictus now that I'm thinking of it. But we'll see. The North American-based team progressed with 2 upcoming RSI ships. The first, the Apollo, successfully passed its white box review gate and moved into gray box with support from the concept team on the medical room design. See, I want to hear with support from the gameplay team. That's what I want to know. I want to know that the people who are working on medical gameplay, oh man, guys, I just want that confirmation so freaking bad. I want to be able to scroll down the core gameplay and see them say anything about medical, just so we know that they're not about to release the Apollo with no changes to medical gameplay. That would drive me up the wall. I really hope they don't do that. Some aspects of this ship progressed significantly due to utilization of the extensive RSI kit created for the Zeus and the Polaris. The second, the RSI Perseus, passed its white box review at the start of March. Like the Apollo, some areas progressed visually thanks to the RSI kit. Neither of these ships are coming this summer. I think both of them might come out at the end of the year. Maybe one CitizenCon, one IAE, but these are still well in their development. That'd be so bad if the Apollo was just a larger spawn location. We march on Roberts until the Ranger is released. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how far down the list the Ranger is on things to do. Do T3 beds still heal all injuries? No, I didn't get healed all injuries when I laid down in the good old bed. Got pumped with the good juice. Oh! Why do we have a hype train going on right now? What is... Dude, Twitch, y'all... Twitch is so trigger happy. I need to figure out why it keeps giving us hype trains for... Not that we don't appreciate you getting hype trains. Thank you. Very cool. Just like... somebody sneezes and they're like, hype! We don't know what those ships are. They could already be close to done with the Paladin, and the Ironclad is in... or close to Lot 0. Well, the Ironclad isn't an unannounced vehicle. So that puts that out of the race for that. The Paladin, though, I do believe could be going through its gray box gate review. The Ironclad could also be going through its gray box gate review. It's gay box. But this is an unannounced vehicle. Probably thank you very much. If this is what they're saying here. Toma Arashi. First toes gang of the day. Oh shoot, where's my marker? Where's my damn marker? Give me that marker. Come here. Appreciate you so much. You're going on the board because I don't write things on my chest. That's how you get chest pimples, you know, you start writing names all over it. Thank you, Toma. Appreciate you. If you just got a gifted sub from Toma, give a shout out, give a thanks, give a little, because they just gave you access to the new exclusive video. Came out this week. Talks about exploration gameplay, what it's supposed to be in Star Citizen based on what they've told us and what I've noticed, and my own opinions on it. And if you ever want to upgrade that support as an Onion supporter on Patreon or YouTube, you also get access to our referral code randomizer. And you get to get your referral codes in for our referral codes instead, which I guess might not matter as much until July, since they're going to just cancel everybody's referrals. But after that, I'll be doing more newcomer focused stuff. So, actually, I know you guys have been saying they slowed down a little bit this year. We've been focusing on the veterans with our videos lately. No, that's not true. not all of them. What's the intended purpose of the Paladin? It's a gunship. Support. Pew pew. Whole bunch of pew pews. The Paladin's a really cool ship, actually. I think it looks pretty interesting. I'm glad that they're bringing it in to give some relief to the Redeemer. Wow, really? It doesn't show up when you search for it? I don't even remember where they introduced it. I think it was during IAE. Whatever. The Paladin is like a 3 to 4 person gunship. 2 to 4 person gunship with some turrets on it. It's going to be great for probably like bounty hunting, mercenary work, patrol work, escorts, stuff like that. It's got 2 decks, plenty of room inside, an armory, suit lockers. It's a cool ship. It's a freaking, like, I'm not really into combat ships that much, but I actually really like the Paladin. I think that's why I talk about it so much, and I'm just now realizing I'm just obsessed with this ship. How do you use your Prime? Hey, Turtle Tommy. Yo, I just want to give you a shout out, Turtle Tommy, because you literally made it possible for us to get a hard drive, which made it possible for this stream to last long enough for me to figure out the NAS. Thank you so much. That was very big. Not that we don't appreciate any other support. It's just that the way that Tommy did it, it actually reached us that day, so I was able to go out and get a hard drive, which was very nice. Your Prime sub, I think you have to like connect your Amazon account to your Twitch. Nobody serious does combat in a Carrack. Is that a thing? Do people talk about that? Don't you have a list of stuff you need? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. We don't need it anymore. I mean, I'm still going to get the hard drives at some point, but I got the NAS figured out. You have a lot more storage left over now. Paladin is a multi-crew Scorpius that can hit harder and theoretically sustain damage. You know, I really actually like that description of it because it kind of looks like the Scorpius to me. It's got that same shape, right? When the Scorpius is in its battle salmon format, it looks kind of like this, just smaller. God. Oh my gosh. Am I developing a crush on the Paladin? I don't like combat ships. Stop this. Don't do this, Anvil. What else is there? Work continued on 3 unannounced vehicles as well, a variant of a popular ship passed gray box review. Another variant is approaching gray box review, while an all-new model entered production in preparation for its white box review in early April. All right, let's rip this apart real quick. So 3 unannounced vehicles as well. First, a popular ship variant. Second, a different variant of something else. Third, an all-new model that's completely unannounced, I assume. Yeah, I mean, they said unannounced. So none of these are announced. One is a variant. Well, 2 of them are variants and 1 are all new. But they say unannounced vehicles here. And then they say this one is a popular ship. The other 2 they don't say are ships. So these might both be vehicles. Another variant of a vehicle could be a CSV, could be an Atlas, could be the other Atlas. It could be quite a few different things. You know what I would be really interested in seeing is if this was a variant of an actually like an old ship. Yeah, like a Cutlass or an Avenger. Them doing a variant of a really old ship would give them a very easy in on updating that old ship to the current standards, which CIG, we would love that. I would make you fresh pancakes if you focused on that. I promise. Because we really want to get old ships updated. It would be just the darndest. Cutlass purple food truck variant. Hell yeah, dude. I want to do pizza deliveries, okay? This is what would make the world go around. This is what would fix the UEE. It would scare away. It would actually probably bring the Vandal together to celebrate and party with us, the Jean and the Banu, over pizza deliveries. Cutlass Purple to save the world. Right here. Turn the Connie into a Dorito. I kind of like that the Connie shows RSI's old style. It's a nice touch. They changed over time, you know? Well, let's see. They've been putting in starter ships per professions lately. So we got a salvage starter with the Fortune, which they could probably go smaller with now that we've seen what they do with the mining, but let's stick with that. Salvage starter with the Fortune. Mining starter with the Golem. We've already got all the combat starters you could possibly want, so let's not talk about those. There's no reason to have a tow truck starter because nobody gives a crap about that kind of gameplay right now. What other starter ship profession do we need? Box delivery, we've got that. That's just your average small ship. A starter. Yes. Oh, I guess it's the RSI ship that's going to be the salvage starter. That's like the golem of salvaging. We don't have any other dedicated professions that need a starter right now, huh? Did they get starter ships for every profession after the RSI thing? Hey, Jose, have a good one. Go to sleep, my friend. Catch you tomorrow. Refueling? Ooh, that would be interesting. A refueling starter would be weird though, like, cause you kind of need your tanks to be bigger than the ships you're refueling. Maybe a repair. Would they dare? Would they dare to try and make a starter repair ship before? I mean, that would be actually... No, we would need to have the systems. We would need to have hull damage. Well, with engineering, there's no more... Hull damage is a separate thing you can actually repair. So if the most basic version of a repair ship only did hull damage, and then maybe had like a little inventory for a component or two, some fuses, and additional repair stuff, that would be like a repair starter ship, huh? And they're working pretty deeply on salvage. Engineering gameplay is definitely coming up soon. TM. I'd put that on my short list. Curious why salvage doesn't have a repair head. Well, I'm making up starter myself. Raft refueler is a no-brainer. Well, that's basically the Vulcan, right? Might as well just get that done. Fortune is not a starter. Yeah, so the RSI salvage ship is going to be the one that they are... they're probably making fit that position. Did they say it has an interior? When they were going over it recently?
Point of station there, but it's also got like the little frilly bits on the side, like what the Vulture's got for the fracture field. For
it looks like it has an interior. It looks big enough to have one.
I quite like that one.
I think it's very cool. Chat's taking to this one really well.
Hell yeah!
Looks like a kind of a
Chat, is it real?
It looks like a cover car.
This guy, he's a bit much more
This thing just looks like a battle Pisces.
stereotypical RSI, I guess. It's like it's kind of got a Zeusy silhouette.
Yeah, I don't know if they said there's an interior on that, but maybe that's their starter for salvage. Either way, we've got a popular variant of a ship. Wonder what that's going to be. Another variant approaching gray box, and an all-new model in prep for white box. So these are probably not coming immediately.
Scary, it didn't work.
Yeah, I heard your ice banging around in your water bottle when you walked in. Trying to scare me. Clang, clang, clang. See you later. Yeah, I wonder what these are. Yeah, technically they're unannounced. Nomad. The funny thing is, like, whose idea of popular is this? Are they like, yeah, it's a very popular ship amongst missile guys, the Gladiator, or is it actually a popular ship? Oh, it could be the ST variant of the Zeus. Yeah, good call. Good call. Actually, we've got actual visual proof that that's a thing. That is a very good call.
Last show.
This guy. But they don't really have any reason for this. I'm pretty sure. I think we can all... In fact, I think there might have been a leak or something that said the Zeus status was going to be for... what's it called? Passenger transport. And I don't think they would be working on passenger transport. Right? That wouldn't make sense for this year. That would be completely out of left field. The Zeus MR, well, that's not unannounced, so that wouldn't fit the category. And I guess, does this count as announced? They didn't actually cover it. They didn't talk about it. There was just this picture. Pretty sure this is the only record we have of this ship. The Star Citizen Zeus status. Yeah, I think that's the only thing we've ever seen. So, like, is this announced or not? E1 is not passenger transport. Yeah, so I don't know what these ships are, but that is our ship section. And it's a long one. This is actually kind of funny because the last two, they didn't do anything. I went all the way back to November, December earlier to look up that information because if you go to the Star Citizen monthly reports of January or February of this year, you will notice that they kind of shut the f up about ships for a couple months. Maybe because they were refactoring and figuring things out. As you can see, there's no ship art section here in January, and there's no ship art section here in February. So, like, maybe they paused on this stuff in order to figure things out. Maybe they just didn't want to talk about the work they were doing. But it is notable that when you look at the older November, December one, I think I can just pull that back up like this. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm not going to look it up. When we go back to this monthly report from last year, the art update is like, oh yeah, these things are progressing through white box. And then you come into this update in March and they're like, yeah, the Pioneer's progressing through white box. And you're like, well, has it been in white box for 2 months or not 2 months, 4 months? Or did you guys just take breaks during January and February? And that's why you can't look at the progress tracker and see a long solid bar that the Pioneer's getting worked on because they might not have actually done work for weeks. You just don't know. But yeah, that's looking at ships. Let's move on. We spend a lot of time on ships. Core gameplay. My favorite freaking section. You'd think it was ships, but here we are. All right. This is where like the good stuff happens. I have a video coming out about this hopefully tomorrow. Core gameplay for the Argo Atlas Geo. The core gameplay team completed the suit's mining and thruster functionality, adding a health bar and damage states and supporting additional improvements to the base Atlas. The thruster functionality, I think, is the biggest thing here. It's the most fun part of the vehicle, and it says good things about the future of platforming for us. I really like the idea we talked about on Wednesday of having backpacks with jump jets in them, so you could like have that working for you, or maybe flight suits have jump jets in them so that you can eject and still land. I guess anybody in a spaceship would probably want one of those. They also implemented the first version of the weapon overheat mechanic to the Volt Parallax Energy Rifle, which enables players to engage a secondary fire mode at the risk of overheating. More weapons will gain the overheat mechanic in the future. Love to hear this. Give me a plasma rifle and a plasma pistol, please. Thank you. It's really cool how the planet temperature affects the gun's overheat mechanic. That's a nice touch. Progress was made on engineering gameplay throughout March, with core gameplay supporting various teams with resource network issues and bugs. They also added auto-throttling, which reverts to a lower or powered-off state if an item doesn't have power during an update. This is just these are super detailed changes. So one of the things that I do when I'm researching and putting together videos and stuff is I work with ChatGPT. We talk back and forth about the stuff that goes on in the monthly reports. And one of the things that we do is kind of track each feature over the course of the different months. So when I was looking at this, I asked, what's the difference between the changes we're seeing now versus the changes we were seeing like 6 months ago? And it was the same conclusion I kind of had. These are very detailed, dotting I's and crossing T's kind of changes. The sort of stuff that probably should have been happening a couple months before 4.0 came out to let us know that engineering was actually getting close. But this is good polish work almost, and you'll notice that as we continue on. In this section, changes were made to vehicle coolant. Now effectiveness is based on an item's physical properties, with a specific amount of coolant counteracting heating causes caused by an equal amount of power. So now, soon, you're actually going to have to manage your coolers to make sure that they're counteracting whatever items on your ship are making more heat. And the next part here says, coolant consumption uses deltas with a dynamic override. The maximum coolant request is based on the maximum power consumption multiplied by a resource network global parameter. So this means that the heat that each of these things makes. So let's say you have your Star Lancer TAC is flying around and you're just cruising, not really doing too much, but you get into a battle, so your turrets start firing. Each of those turrets starts to generate heat. The turrets are drawing power from the power supply, which is draining your power. But because you're also making heat, you need to make sure that you counteract that with coolant. Now, I'm sure the ship is going to automatically do that for you, but if you want to perform better, you'd have to manually do this. And that heat will change based on how much you're using those things. So you could also probably say this about the Orion and its mining lasers. Each laser that's firing is creating more heat, which is requiring more coolant from you. And this is kind of balancing out the power aspect of the ships as well. And then, the last part of this is basically saying that they can change a global value that can affect any ship within some certain range or within the whole game. So they can quickly tweak how these things will, how the coolant consumption rate will actually work in the game as they find out if it's too OP, if it's making too much of a big difference, if it's causing too much problems to players. I think this is more of their kind of back-end side. This just allows them to more easily use this system and change it as they need to make the game work better. But again, more kind of polished kind of stuff that's more than just this is the basic, making the coolant work. But adding global parameters and stuff, I think sounds more robust than their older stuff used to be. The team also made progress towards implementing heat gameplay for ship thrusters. That's kind of what we were talking about. This involved adding filters to the engineering UI to allow players to only see items of a particular category. For example, all weapons or all items with malfunctions. This is just like we were talking about. Maybe you have to factor in the coolant going to your weapons because you're shooting a lot of weapons at the same time. Yeah, your hammerhead has 6 turrets, but if they're all firing, you're putting a lot of strain on your components. And this is something that'll you know, they mentioned thrusters here, but it's also like FPS weapons, powered armors that we have eventually. Your Atlas Geo, even your tractor beam is going to have a battery and have some level of power associated with it. These systems are theoretically creating space for the role of an engineer running around inside a ship and not manning a turret. Yeah, these changes are finally about making ships more than just transportation objects. Like, the ship should be something that's living, that's changing over time, that's causing you problems or successes based on how you treat it. Selection improvements were also made to the UI for engineering. Now left click will cycle through the 2 closest items that you're clicking, useful for doors covering components, and right click will allow for overlapping items and will show all overlapping items and allow selections. So a lot of work going into engineering coming up. This feels a lot more imminent than it did last year. We can go back to, let's say, Star Citizen monthly report. Let's pick a month when they were still acting like engineering was like maybe going to be there. Let's say May. What were they saying about engineering at this time? Charge and Drain continued through pre-production and will now utilize the resource network, support multiplayer, and the ability to charge and drain distortion damage from ship components. Jump drive failures. When a ship's jump drive is disabled or damaged, the player will be forced out of the tunnel. Oh, we know that stuff. For engineering, they implemented power pools, which allow the streamlined power management of grouped items like weapons and thrusters. The resource network was enabled by default in the main Star Citizen development branch, which ensures all teams can work with it and integrate their features or content with it. To be quite honest, that actually sounds pretty advanced too. So maybe it's nowhere near ready. Maybe we're seeing more of 2024. Let's see what they were saying in June. Man, that update probably got us so excited. Gotta remember. Actually, I don't see anything about engineering here. Nope. Just transits and spawn closet. Huh. July? Yeah, we talked about the CitizenCon announcement. Progress on engineering gameplay, including making fully distorted items consume resources despite not being functional. Support was added for Master Modes 2, with quantum drives now going fully offline in SCM. Audio signature emissions were added. You know, looking at these updates, I honestly, I'm gonna say I couldn't tell you that these are any more advanced. Coming back to this monthly report, I'll be honest with you. This stuff, it feels advanced. It feels like very figuring things out kind of mode rather than building the foundations. Talking about, you know, getting the issues and bugs figured out, auto throttling, that kind of thing. But I'm not even gonna put my weight behind that. I'd prefer to just say, hey, it looks like they're doing good work on it, and I don't even know if it's coming soon. You don't like the flying around thing? You're the kind of person who'd rather just ride on ships? You want engineering gameplay where you have to service the shuttles on Orison. Still waiting for that little repair mission they showed us on Orison that one time. All right, where were we? Work was also completed towards item recovery T0, with various items being added to blacklists alongside fixes for related respawn flow issues. We saw this. It's in. Item recovery is a thing, and from here on, we're working towards the ability to get insurance, to get crafting, to get things that allow us to more easily get our things back after we die or lose them. You were curious about what they are working on, but they seemed so close last year, so you're confused how they keep adding more complex stuff to it. Well, these things are things that make sense for being in this service and the system. I think a lot of us just with CIG, some of it is an assumption that the development has happened without them talking about it. But the other part of the assumption is that they're going to drop this system into the game and it's not going to have these features. These are things that are going to be added over time. That's what we saw happen with mining. Like, we're just now seeing mining on the FPS level get some form of separation that makes it feel a little more polished and congruent with the rest of the game. They're just doing that with engineering before releasing it rather than after, which is kind of like what they did with salvage too. Yeah, they were clearly further behind last year on engineering than they let on, and they're probably further behind right now than they'll let on too. Holston Coop, thank you for the membership on YouTube, dude. Good to see you. 52 freaking months. How have you been, buddy? Would be cool to have a black market performance components that you have to adjust to legal standards. Or like a tune. Just give me the good tune. Progress was made on FPS radar and scanning. Now, item components can be detected within vehicles while a player is inside and excluded when outside. This is actually pretty kind of significant because a lot of people have problems with the way that FPS scanners feel like wall hacks. So it's good that they can start to they can identify what kind of things should show up from your scanner based on whether it's behind a wall or not. The features debug tools were also improved. The ongoing transit system rework, known as the transport system, it's got its own name now. The transport system progressed through March, with the team adding setup validation and debugging for non-physicalized carriages to better detect setup issues. The ability to connect carriage zones by transport network was added, as were destination categories and priorities, along with the means to display destinations on carriage panels. Basically, they're just getting like trains and elevators and stuff to work better. The thing to remember is that they have this team working on the transport system, they're calling it, which is basically the transit refactor, the overall redo of the system that was supposed to come with 4.0. They also have a team that is actively working on just fixing what we have right now. So that means that this rework might be still a couple quarters away, which is a bummer. Holston Cube, you're on a conference this whole week, but have a big cold since Tuesday. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. That sucks. Hope you get better soon. All right. A reward mechanic for collection missions was implemented, which is used for the collector missions, while the ability to automatically retrieve items from freight or ship elevators via HUD notification was added. This is that part of the AI that I talked about. What was that, like an hour and a half ago now? It's important that we have rewards that come from these missions and that can be updated over time so that this never becomes stale. For the mission system, the team fixed a bug preventing introductory contracts not counting towards difficulty progression. Sharing prerequisites was also implemented. This allows players to invite others to accept contracts they would otherwise be ineligible for, providing they meet a specific requirement, such as locality or reputation. This is good. This was a problem going on in the beginning of this year when people couldn't get missions from their friends. It But also this is good because they need a way to be able to specify which players can get certain missions from which players based on reputation, and we hadn't really seen that yet. Time was also spent fixing bugs and improving the robustness of the new player experience. Comms notification progressed, including one-way comms calls from mission givers to the players, and comms notifications being triggered by changing mission states such as completed or failed. The mission designers can now trigger comms notifications from mission logic, and they also began implementing 3D building blocks to display more interesting scenes, as the previous method was no longer supported by server meshing. Finally, for core gameplay, improvements were made to commodity kiosks to give better flow to transactions, while fixes were made for bugs relating to hangars, freight elevators, and ship deliveries. You know, the one thing that we're not seeing here is inventory talk. Would love to see some inventory talk, CIG. Hey, Turtle Tommy, thank you for the sub, by the way. 16 months. 16 months subbed on Twitch. Dang. I did not know that. I appreciate you, buddy. And anonymous gifter, thanks for giving that out. A little hype train thing going on. Economy. Okay, I'm like, where the freaking heck are we? The economy team provided balancing support for supplier die, with the devs deeming it overtuned on release. Economy worked with mission design to address the issues as quickly as possible without imposing hard limits. Going forward, both teams will collaborate more closely to establish a stable and holistic approach to balancing open-ended missions with multiple viable solutions. Eric. The team said, our aim is always to maximize player choices and enable emergent gameplay, but balance against exploitable patterns. Okay. We don't like exploitation. Total Tommy, thanks for the bits. C's. Graphics, VFX programming, and Planet Tech. Last month, the graphics team overhauled GPU memory management. This allowed them to add new options, a visualization of the GPU memory required for each, and auto detection for suitable resolution, upscaling, and graphics. Does that mean that they're finally going to start updating the actual requirements for this game? The minimum requirements are so outdated. Gas clouds received a major visual upgrade thanks to the same density shaping and shading technology used by planetary clouds. Global illumination was upgraded too, with improvements to the image stability and accuracy of both diffuse and specular reflections. I don't think we have global illumination yet, but okay. I didn't even notice that gas clouds had been changed up. Gotta check that out. Planet Tech oh, maybe that's not in game yet. Planet Tech V5 continued to make good progress, with the team finalizing the distribution and shading of much denser rock formations. No. 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 If we're getting denser rock formations, can we please get no rock formations in some places? Please? Well, the virtual terrain system is also closer to completion, with runtime compression being worked on next. They better freaking... As long as I have places where I can drive, please. The VFX programming team polished several features such as fire, networking bandwidth for damage maps, and creatures. Vulkan stability was also improved after discussions with NVIDIA led to the diagnosis of two potential issues, one in the driver and one in the game. Workarounds to both were added to the latest PTU patch. Cool. So, I think this came up in a monthly report a couple of months ago, but I'm glad that they actually got something figured out, and hopefully that can help with Vulcan stability. Like, I would love to see them get Vulcan into a place where the game can just run on it and not be an option. Gotta make the geo matter. Oh, this isn't about mining rocks. This is about like the art rocks. These are the extra ones all just kind of that you don't do anything with. Speaking of emerging gameplay, has anyone tried taking decorative tables to monarchs yet and riding them down hills into the water? No, but I've seen it. I've seen it. Rock and stone. As much as I love that phrase, can we please not have it here? All right, mission design. March saw mission design continuing to fix up various older missions that were deprioritized in the refactor. Oh, we need delivery missions back. We really need delivery missions back, and they need to work. Alpha 4.1 was unveiled to the community on the PTU, introducing a new sandbox activity that players can engage in for unique items. There's a big push for increased production value on missions, with a lot of departments helping out to ensure the experience is the best we can get. The team also worked on Rayari and Wicklow, the two new mission givers who require items found during the new missions. That we've talked about this a little bit. This is something that they probably need to change pretty quickly. I know they want to make people go to the new content that they're releasing, but like, that's good for maybe a month. Open this up, let it be part of the sandbox, give people methods of finding these things in different ways. Nothing better than flipping the Nursa 1,000 times on your way to a bunker. Yeah, surface mining sounds like it's struggling in Stanton. We had a good time in Pyro. I would say anybody who wants to do mining, just go to Pyro and mine there. Stanton seems to be struggling. It's that corporate bullshit, you know? They just stopping the working man from getting his work done. Narrative team. Aligning with the increased release schedule cadence, Alpha 4.1 was a major focus for the narrative team in March. For the new Hathor orbital mining facilities, this included adding discoverable data pads around the site, polishing numerous missions that utilize the new locations, and working with art to improve directional signage. Just want to be clear here, none of this has to do with any sort of event. Discoverable data pads is just lore defined. Numerous missions are coming from contracts that you can get at any place in the system, and art to improve directional signage is just literally world building. Okay, it's a little bit of help in moving around the specific locations, but you don't have to be doing the event Align and Mine or whatever you want to call it to enjoy the Hathor locations. I would just check them out. We've had nothing but FPS stuff since 4.0. Dude, Supply or Die was like the best thing they've ever done for not FPS people. What are you talking about? I loved that. Granted, the contested zones is definitely very FPS focused. And the, what was it, Fight for Pyro stuff was FPS focused. But I think Supply or Die was finally a good change up for the people who didn't want that kind of stuff. And I think the what's it called? The collection stuff is a good turn in the right direction too. Like the collection stuff, the mining stuff, and then the Supply or Die has been the bright spot for me in terms of like they're getting a little bit more varied gameplay going on finally. Huge bottleneck for players that don't want to get shot by other players. Right. I think requiring you to go there for the other thing isn't the best move. I know they want to get people out there to test the area and like get eyes on it and stuff, but there are reasons to be at the Hathor location that aren't those minables. You don't have to couple those up, I don't think. Unrealistic to expect the EPTU build of engineering by the halfway point of this year. I don't think that's unrealistic. I hope for it. But I I don't know. There's a big change in core gameplay that's coming, and then engineering is part of that. It's hard to tell when it might be. You could use every game loop to do it. Salvaging wasn't boring. Salvaging's chill. Just can't wait for AI crews. Oh boy. Means you can replace your friend with a gunner that can aim. Yeah, that's gonna be a while though. You'd love to have supplier die in the game forever, maybe with less AUEC rewards. The Hathor locations are a dynamic event, right? This is the third dynamic event they've ever put into the game. The first was Ghost Hollow. The second was Korea Security Station. And this is the third. There are some others that kind of fit into that category, but not many things in this game are player triggered and then send out official messages based on that player triggering it. Actually, don't think this one sends out a message even, just a big old laser that lets everybody know. But it's one of the only times where we've been able to take control of the game ourselves and like make something happen. And I think they need to do that with other things, like you said, like supply or die. There need to be the whole blockade runner needs to be a dynamic event. It needs to be something that can be triggered at any point by players who are maybe aiding the pirates too much in that area of the system. So the pirates get emboldened and take over a space station, and then suddenly there are reasons for people to ship stuff there. It doesn't have to be something triggered by CIG. But the Hathor locations, I think, represent what that could be. And because they're so new, everybody is like a little spazzy there. People are shooting each other. There's not really much law. There's no real way to protect players. And so things are kind of played fast and loose. But over time, as they lose their novelty, I think these are going to be really important locations. These are the hotspots that Todd Pappy talked about 4 years ago. Back to the narrative. I don't even know, where were we? The patch release also brings the major milestone of Star Citizen's first alien NPC, the Banu trader Wicklow. I mean, our first NPC we can talk to. I hope they get him into the game in his shop soon. We had a lot of fun creating I guess that wouldn't really work because there's so many locations. We had a lot of fun creating the character and making the Emporium a place players would enjoy exploring. Kind of wonder, will they take out the other Emporiums? Maybe they should just have one of these locations, and hopefully they can trade the other two out for other things. Because it's a little bit weird, now that I think of it, for there to be 3 different locations that you can fly to, and all of them have him greeting you and calling you into his location. Could have him rotate and have special deals. When you say that, I just imagine him like being like, "Hello, I am Wicklow. I have special deals for you." I can't really rotate very well here, but you get what I'm saying. They said, "We've had a lot of fun creating the character and making the Emporium a place players would enjoy exploring." Cool. Thank you, Narrative team. Narrative also ran a capture session that focused on adding dialogue to several upcoming missions, as well as introducing 2 new faction representatives who players will work with during specific contracts. Boom bang biggity bomb. They're continuing forward with mission givers. They've got 2 new ones coming up. And I think this probably fits pretty in line with what we learned in this video. I don't even know where we learned about this.
Well, I'm being punked right now. But I'm gonna try really hard not to let anyone down.
Shocking news out of the Stanton system with the recent attacks by Frontier fighters on the Invictus celebrations.
And in addition to news about the ongoing threat of the Frontier fighters, I'm also doing reports about a new threat to all human life in the verse that begins to rear its head in the upcoming Alpha 4.1 with the start of this year's B story, concerning a suspected failure of regen technologies, which we'll learn more about in just a couple of weeks. The UEE.
So that's probably, I mean, that might have something to do with what we're hearing about here. But it's definitely more mission givers and which should mean more interesting contracts to take. More voice acting, more effort, less just reading a Moby-Glass. Additionally, the team helped to refactor some older missions with updated contracts. There is also ongoing work with design to refine some of the locations. Can I get, hey, positive folks in chat, can y'all speak up a little bit more? It helps me get through this. Lordy. There is also ongoing work with design to refine some of the locations coming this year to ensure they will provide a rich narrative experience. I am just excited to see more missions coming up, more contracts, especially with people who are actually voice acting them. Shaman, you loving this? That's good to hear, dude. I do know that I do think that the Wicklow edition is a little strange with the multiple locations. I appreciate the narrative part of it, though. Good game, very nice. Doesn't have to be all that. It's asking a lot from gamers. Hey, that's why I always start my streams with what's going on with you this week, because it is quite nice. You're having more fun and playing SC more than ever? Well, that's good. Hey, Apollo. Good to see you, dude. I saw you visited the LA office. How was that? Who gives me hope for this game? Hey, I'm here to give some news and opinions. A lot of times my opinions are kind of off. But I just enjoy getting to like chill out and talk with people who are enjoying the stuff I enjoy. I love to allow for criticisms and like complaining and stuff. It's just, it starts to wear. Stuff like Xenothreats events is SC at its best, and it seems like we're headed towards more of that. I hope that they can make Xenothreat something that happens naturally, though. I hate having to fit a specific time for it. And at the same time, that actually is kind of nice. When will they stop their stability push and drop engineering? Well, they're not doing a stability push. They're doing a playability push. It's always good to remember because not everything they're adding is actually improving stability. Some of it's just making some of the features more fun to play with. LA studio visit was bittersweet. Got to meet and talk with Chris for the first time. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It looks like they're pretty much done though. Like they're moving out of that office like pretty much now. Getting a West Coast CitizenCon watch party plan. Nice, dude. That'll be cool. We're probably going to do something with our community here. You did bounties and mercenary work in a single session without issues. It's a game right now. Did you get your monies? It is evacuated. Wow. They got out of there. You're a new player that's struggling through the jank, but still managing to have a good time. That is rough. Not a particularly comforting time to jump in as a new player. Any highlights or low lights? Low darks? Kudatron, how's he going? Chris isn't based out of the LA studio. He moved to Manchester a while ago. And then they were doing like between Austin and Manchester. All right, back to the report. Here we go. In March, the Live Tools team focused on improving the usability of their main support tool, Hex. We know Hex. Hex is really easy to see in action. If you go to Turbulence website, because they're the ones who kind of do a lot of the maintenance and creation of this stuff, and look at their page here. This is what Hex looks like. It is basically the tool that they use to track players. I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying here. Usability of their main support tool. Okay, it's apparently it's their main support tool. I actually don't know what that means, but you can see here that it gives them the ability to track our reputations, see what players have been doing. I don't know why that said chat. Just like you can kind of glean information from these pages. But it looks like it is heavily maintained by the Turbulent team. The online services team worked on the first pass of the services ecosystem to support upcoming developments by the gameplay teams. Various social improvements were made, including optimizations to kicking members from groups, the create group flow, and the rollback strategy for the add members flow. They also added metrics to identify the origins of ScyllaDB queries. This is, I guess, their database. Request logging options and configurations to specify the maximum number of concurrent requests. For analytics, configurations were added for HTTP clients and enable Kafka connections. For missions, entities were removed from the shard tag while the mission system was updated too. And that, my friends, is... I don't really have any idea what that stuff means. You're a new player, you've been having a blast. You and your friends been playing at least 4 to 5 hours every day. Are your friends new players? This latest patch seemed up there with 4.0.2 at its best when you jumped on yesterday, but maybe you just got lucky. I hope it gets better. I mean, I hope that this patch continues to get more stable. When it works, what's there is pretty fun. I am also frustrated about the fact that we don't have, like, not just the stuff from CitizenCon 2023, but also the stuff that was supposed to be in 4.0. But I hope what is there, they can get into a better, more playable position. Maybe the elevator fixes are not here yet, and a few other essentials, but the game does feel fun to play. Fun is good. Some of them are vets, okay. The most stable SC has ever been before now is probably 317.3, maybe, or 3.322.2. But I would say it was probably before PES, 317.3. We had a whole freaking like year of stabilizing patches after 316 dropped. So that was actually after 315 dropped. So that was a good time. Ever since you joined an org, the game has been a lot more fun. You do wish you could mine the Hathor stuff in other places, but other than that, it's a good time. Agreed there. And yeah, playing this game with an org is a lot more fun. Yeah, 404 Fox, you're I think you're spot on there. All right, R&D from last month. In March, gas cloud detail rendering was improved using techniques used by planetary volumetric clouds. Now the artists can refine the density provided by the original gas cloud volume database via procedural noise using runtime shaping and erosion calculations. Moreover, edge albedo can be controlled to further emphasize the cloud's volumetric structure. Additionally, a configurable gradient was added to control the blend between the original and shaped density. This allows the team to keep the density of the original VDB data in thin areas of clouds while adding more detail to denser areas. So clouds are just getting a lot fucking better. And I really appreciate it. To be honest, clouds was one of the few things where I thought they would be done earlier than they are. I thought they were going to get clouds in because there was a huge buildup. Oh my God, do you guys remember the freaking buildup and hype leading up to the implementation of clouds in this game? It was years, freaking years that we were watching the development of space clouds, and then slowly these got into the game, and then they developed them further, and then they looked good, and then it was like, okay, now we have to get them for Crusader, And then we got the gas giant finally, and then the clouds came to the planets, and it was like, okay, finally we got clouds. Then they did like another update, and they looked really good. And then they did another update, and they looked better, and we're like, okay, this is looking good. At that point, I was like, they're probably just going to make these perform better, and then they're good. But no, they keep going. They're trying to make the clouds look better. And to be honest, I love it. I love it. I like that. I want nice clouds. I mean, that's like a really big part of the game. How often are we flying down into planets? That approach needs to be... They got to make sure it's really freaking good and it's incredibly different in each planet, or else it's going to get pretty old flying from orbit down to the planet's surface. So making the clouds good, making weather good, making sure there's good music, making sure that the approach out of quantum travel is nice, that you're getting comms through your ears, that you can see other ships coming and going. Like, they need to make sure this experience of going down to planets is really good. So I'm happy that they're putting more work into clouds, making that approach nice. Tech design, or sorry, we're still on clouds. For dynamic weather, the rain volume calculation was improved to ease content authoring. The vertical distribution along the local height of lightning events was also refined. Furthermore, the volumetric rendering of lightning was enhanced by providing more flexibility in controlling the lightning variant. Just for funsies, let's look at what they had to say about this, because it's always, I think, fun to check this out. So here's their basically visual target for what they want to do with this Planet Tech V5 we've been hearing about. Cloud improvements, weather improvements, dynamicism, pooling up on the ground, all that kind of stuff. Here is the full sort of showcase of that.
And this is important, creates much deeper lighting, and it can contrast against the sun's rays, resulting in much more vivid cloudscapes like we see on the left here, something we're all too familiar with in Manchester.
Now, it would be awesome to bring this into context and show it on an actual location. Let's take a look at a quick scene to round this up. It's a nice day on the surface, but something's different. The clouds are moving, but they're not just moving, they're forming naturally in changing shape. They dissipate as they glide on the atmosphere based on wind data, stratus and cumulus alike. Now we start seeing the new cloud shading model come into play. We are seeing enhanced occlusion beneath the cover, emphasizing the sunbeams how it interact with the clouds, and seeing the light shafts peer through the layers. Now, as this is closing in, we can start to see the changes in visibility of the area. Light precipitation is starting. Previously, we authored static cloud shapes, but no longer. We didn't manually place a volume here. Its presence has been informed by Genesis data. Oh, and it's not just a cloud volume. It's a weather front.
Benoit freaking leans so much into his character when he does
now
this stuff.
We're trying to see the wind picking up. Terrain and rocks are getting wet. Vegetation, grass, and the overall environment are responding to the weather. The system is changing the world around us. We can see puddles being formed dynamically in the dirt, properly responding to light, reflections, and rain droplets, making it getting really ominous and loud in here. I can feel the danger. I think we should let this play out in the game.
Weather is looking fast on this location. Conditions are deteriorating. Severe items. We need to leave now. Get back here. I'm getting out of this suit now. Powering up and flying out. We'll need to switch to IFR. See you on the other side.
You can actually tell, well, okay, so the whole idea that this is a render and not gameplay, there are a couple visual glitches that you can tell it's in engine. I do think that this is probably an on rails thing, but I do think this is in engine. You can kind of see, like, even here, rain's going through the ship. I don't think that would happen if this was a render. I think that's generally the kind of thing that does happen in the engine, but I'm not going to say that like they're actually playing the game. It's definitely not a networked game, that's for sure. This is a very early dev build that was probably polished up and made to just run this one section. We made it. Does look really cool though. So that was kind of, that's all the stuff that they're working on here when it comes to weather and things like that. It'll be cool, but it's probably going to be a little while as well. Tech design. Spent March working on an upcoming in-game event supporting mission design with gameplay entity and logic flow setup. Probably what we're going to see with 4.1.1, which I'm guessing is this new regen stuff that they're kind of starting to tease on the loading screen and whatnot. VFX progressed with their tasks for the Valakar. They also supported the locations team with effects for Alpha 4.1's new mission locations, including the orbital laser platform, borehole cave, and satellite dish. Again, mission locations, not event locations. Crucial. It'll always be here. And the Valakar is good to see. I think we'll probably see the full-size Valakar sometime this summer. The Zeus didn't say ERMS, ERMR, MRES, or CL, so it's the ST. The trailer looks like it's a whole other build from 2028. It's probably the kind of build that looks like what Squadron is running on. Love it when they show stuff like the mule actually loading a ship. Current mule can't even carry crates, right? Yeah, what the hell's up with that, man? Fix the mule. They have ray tracing working in their build internally, in the one that's running like Squadron 42 and probably whatever their dev branch is, but our build doesn't have it. No. You found that playing with controllers results in a camera movement feeling like these demos. That's why I play like with a controller. Once I'm starting to do a lot more gameplay focused content for y'all, I'm going to be playing with a controller because it'll give like a really nice cinematic feel. And one of the #1 things I've always wanted to do is just play the game and like sit in this kind of format and give you guys the most cinematic, immersive experience in a space environment. I just know I can't do that now because nobody wants to watch because there's no immersion. Everything breaks all the time. And I also can't stop talking to chat. That's going to kill me, man. I don't even know how I'm going to get through that. How am I supposed to play this game without talking to chat? I've got that Elite controller. Very nice. Lasted me a long time. Sticks would help with filming, yeah. I mean, I'll be doing that when I'm flying. Five minutes of no tomato talking. Maybe that should be what you guys can redeem with your points instead of freaking singing. So yeah, that's your monthly report, folks. Hope you got some good information out of that. Some background knowledge, something maybe to be happy about, something to be mad about, something to look forward to, something to look back from. And yeah, next one next month. Same place, same time-ish, kind of. Sing mode is impossible to get now. So many points needed. All right, now that we're finally settling in, we've got a lot of freaking like housekeeping to do in terms of that stuff. We'll take a look back at like the points and how our points economy is working and everything, and get some proper redemptions there. Maverick, stop throwing tomatoes, man. Rude. Halo-style theater mode for SC would be crazy. Could you imagine the level of machinima we would get? Star Citizen would be the place for the next Red versus Blue if that happened. It would be something else, man. I mean, think of like all we would need are the writers. You could do everything else that a show like Red versus Blue did, and it could be in so
Mass
many
attack
different
starts in 5,
What the
4, 3,
what the
2,
absolute
1.
is going on?
Mass attack.
What? The fuck was that? Why are you guys wreaking havoc on my stream? What the hell happened? All attacks are free for the next 30 minutes? Oh my god. Oh boy, what have you done? So you guys can just throw stuff at the screen all you want. Good job, man. Thanks for the sheeps and the tomatoes. Good guy. Good job, guys. It's all because Maverick just keeps throwing tomatoes. Never heard of mass attack, no. Twitch is just weird, huh? It's a beautiful looking game. Bought it a couple years ago. Computer couldn't run it. Got a new computer, so now I am good to go, I guess. Has it been working for you, Cal? See the CitizenCon announcement about no in-person event. Do you think it means Squadron 42 Q3 next year post CitizenCon? I think it could, yeah. I think it really could. A lot of Twitch DJs use the don't talk over this redeem. Huh. That's actually not a bad idea. Only 17,000 to go until sing mode. Lurch. Got a new puppy today, 8-week-old Roddy, named Zoe. Aw. Congratulations. Puppies are the best. They're so annoying, but they're so great. So long as GTA 6 doesn't get too close, Squadron is solid, dude. There are full-on, like I'm seeing, there are just companies full-on just changing their release dates and it just entirely avoiding the black hole that is GTA 6. Do you think GTA 6 is going to be the biggest media release in all of history? It seems likely. It seems like the GTA 6 is going to be the largest art-based motivation of money transfer in the history of humanity. And I'm excited to see what the hell it's made of. Like, what have they done? I was thinking, they're bringing GTA 5 to Xbox Game Pass. Really cool. I appreciate that. But it's like totally marketing for GTA 6, right? Because they've taken so long in between GTA games that they have folks that are going to play this game. Guys, they have people who are going to play GTA 6 that weren't even f***ing alive when the last one came out. And so they gotta show these people what the heck this game is. So they're bringing it back to Game Pass so that people can play it for free, because there's just an entire generation of children that are like, wait, what? I mean, granted, you know, GTA Online has a lot of players and has had a lot of players this whole time, but there's a whole bunch of people who don't know about GTA's story-based and like its roots, you know, where it came from. And I find that really freaking funny. Hey, Loof, you're a children? Bro, what? This gonna be your first GTA release, Leaf? GTA 6 will push the subscription even harder now that Nintendo just upped all their game costs. Yeah, gaming is about to get real expensive. I mean, Game Pass is like $50 a month for Ultimate. It's, gaming is becoming a very not hobby, not for everybody, which is frustrating. 12-year-olds play GTA? Yeah. Did you not? Bro, I was playing Halo when I was 10? 11? Yeah, I 100% played GTA when I was 12, probably. Your mom wouldn't let you play it before? Oh, this is literally gonna be your first GTA? Yeah, that's cool, man. Do not give your whiny, sniveling kids your money. Make them do something. I do. I make them level me up in GTA. Duh. I give my kids the money so that they can go get Path of Exile and get me to a high level. It's a good relationship we got going on, you know? You've been cussed out by 8-year-olds on GTA. Oh, you were kidding. Okay, but your mom was strict. Halo came out when you were 25 to 26. It came out when I was 10, I think. 9 or so. 8. I think it came out when I was 8. 9? Around there, somewhere around there. You remember having to call 300 people to pick up their pre-orders for Vice City. Do not miss that. Hey, come pick up your pre-order, man. It's not just gonna show up in your computer on launch day. What do you think this is, 2020? No GTA has hit like Vice City for you. I was a big San Andreas guy. That stop throwing my face on the screen, man. You were 11 for Halo 1? Yeah, I think a lot of us were probably anywhere between 10 and 20 years old when Halo came out. 10 and 30, we'll say. Anybody in here who wasn't alive when Halo came out? Which is not, like, that's not a surprise. That's 24 years old. There's plenty of real human beings that are 24 years old. Release day queues at launch. I really miss release days of video games. Oh man, you remember midnight releases. Hell, what, like, they're not even, we don't even do midnight releases of movies anymore. What happened to us? Look what we've lost. What part? Halo 1. Almost 40. There we go. Holding it down though. Anybody who's almost 40 was literally the driving force of modern gaming. The 2000s were the best decade of gaming. I'm probably saying that because that's when I came of age, but like still, the 2000s were, to me, the most innovative and like exploratory area of gaming outside of indie games. And I know like the 90s and 80s were really cool because there were a whole bunch of different players in the game. But the 2000s, man, they had just finally gotten the tech figured out. Internet had just finally started working for gaming so we could network and play together like that. Like, oh God, it was good times. I still remember like 2008, I think it was. What games came out in 2008? Far Cry 2, Fallout 3, Saints Row 2, Grand Theft Auto 4, Left 4 Dead, freaking Metal Gear Solid 4, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Fable 2, Call of Duty World at War, Gears of War 2, Mirror's Edge, Battlefield Bad Company, Little Big Planet, Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Guitar Hero was hitting hard back then, Rock Band 2 came out that year, freaking Assassin's Creed was coming out, Burnout Paradise, World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. Like, look at the amount of games that would come out in 1 year that were just defined the whole generation of gaming. Almost all of these games, we have like direct lines to what we're playing now. Left 4 Dead is like a huge, it created that whole 4-person jump in, jump out kind of thing, right? Fallout 3, huge RPG. Far Cry 2, basically the basis of how they do their RPGs these days. Fable was like a huge name in RPGs where you would have actual effects from the things you did. Call of Duty World at War, back when the Call of Duty from Treyarch were still really good. It was just good freaking times. And then I think Army of Two was pretty cool too. And then I think it was maybe the year before this where we saw like BioShock. Yeah. Assassin's Creed started. Like, Assassin's Creed changed action adventure games. Hard to say it didn't. The Witcher game came out in 2007. Stalker, Crysis, Super Mario Galaxy, freaking Portal, BioShock started in 2007. Halo 3, Team Fortress 2, the original Rock Band. The years were hitting so hard back then. It's sad. I'm sorry, I sound like an old man, but like, these are such good times. And it was cool because the way they released was like, you would have all this buildup. There wouldn't be early access. There wouldn't be like these weird periods of scrambling to release updates to fix the game because you released it completely broken. The game would launch at midnight. You go to the store. You get to bring it home and then stay up all night and play it and then miss school the next day if your parents were cool enough. And then you'd get to go in, or maybe stay up and then go into school and talk with all your friends about how sick it was. Yeah, Mass Effect was also 2007. Like, it was just, we kind of lost a little bit of that. I like how gaming is now. I like how easy it is to get into. It's democratized to some extent. You don't really need a powerful computer to play a lot of really good things. But we also, like, you kind of do need a powerful computer to get the best out of gaming. And you just didn't back then. You could have had a little laptop, loaded up some Portal, and had the actual best gaming experience ever. There's still good aspects of gaming. It's just nowhere near like what it used to be, in my opinion. This is going to be my old man speech, dude. I can't believe it. This is going to be our back in my day. You kids don't know anything about teabagging, whipping the shit out of your best friends. Back in my day, Little kids told me daily how much they f***ed my mom, and it didn't bother me one bit. The good old days. I need to get like an old man filter on this. Attention everybody. Attention please. If you could turn your attention towards back in my day, it was way f***ing better. Hey man, Assassin's Creed Shadows looks pretty freaking sick. It sounds like it's more like the old Assassin's Creeds than the new Assassin's Creeds, so I'm here for it. I like Assassin's Creed pre-Origins more than post-Origins. So I'm glad that they're kind of trying to turn back towards what they used to do. I think they did it with Mirage as well, and it sounds like they're trying to do it with Hex. So I think at least with companies like, or with efforts like Assassin's Creed, it seems possibly with something like Mass Effect, and hopefully with Fable, these are companies that are looking to go back towards what actually made their games good. But again, that's still the same problem that we've had with like film. You guys can't figure out how to do the new things correctly, so you just keep going back to the old things because they worked. You don't do Ubisoft no more? I'm gonna play it, man. I love those games. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed in quite a while, but I grew up on that freaking franchise, and if it's gonna play a little bit like the old ones, I'll try it out. I also, like, yeah, kill me to death, whatever. I want to make sure that Ubisoft can make another Splinter Cell game. Crucify me. If they can stay in business long enough for us to see Sam Fisher once again in his glory, please? Can we make that happen? I think Splinter Cell was coming out. Oh, Supreme Commander came out in 2007 too. Bro, we were living. Crackdown came out this year? Oh my god. Half-Life 2? The Darkness, this game was sick. Super edgy, very fun. Command and Conquer, Tiberium Wars. This was the game that got me into real-time strategy games for real. This game made me go back to StarCraft and just lose myself to RTS for like a solid few years. That's why I know about Supreme Commander. I love this, man. I miss the late 2000s. Did I get a chance to check out Star Wars Outlaws? Not gonna lie, I haven't played it since I started it. I've literally just not had the time to get into any games other than... Okay, that's not true. I played Citizen Sleeper, and I just play more on my Xbox. I'm not the kind of person who plays on my computer in my, like, downtime. I like to go and sit on a couch, you know? That's how I grew up, playing these games on a couch. Yeah, they need to keep Michael Ironside alive. Absolutely. There is too much money in gaming. Absolutely, yeah. Pokemon games actually got more advanced. Absolutely. Unity was so good it was just buggy mess, but it had the best parkour system. Assassin's Creed Unity? Oh yeah, absolutely. Chaos Theory on Xbox was peak co-op. That was so good, dude. Absolutely. Army of Two was pretty good co-op too. Used to have a friend that hated AC Shadows because he thought it was woke, didn't know Yusuke was a real historical character. I mean, I understand not liking Assassin's Creed because it's Assassin's Creed. But at the end of the day, like most of these games, no matter who is running the company, is made by a bunch of devs that don't really care about the messaging. They're just trying to make a good game. So, see what the game actually plays like. Sounds like you need a Steam Deck to stream your PC to your couch. I could probably find like a solid 20-meter HDMI cable, right? 8-year-old you sitting crisscross applesauce in front of the fat back TV playing Super Smash Bros. What other good kinds have you seen? Now, what's 2009 look like? Assassin's Creed 2, Modern Warfare 2, Demon's Souls. Every single year of this decade. I guess we're seeing the best games of the decade, so it's not fair. But like Minecraft is still around. It's one of the infamous Dragon Age Origins, Grand Theft Auto, the Ballad of Gay Tony. My freaking toes are curling, dude. This is so good. The Chronicles of Riddick Escape from... Oh no, this isn't Butcher Bay. Assault on Dar 15, I don't know that one. Halo ODST though. Wolfenstein. What else? Come on, give me something good. League of Legends. Dude, like the actual defining games of our current time started at this time. You guys saw Borderlands? Borderlands, yeah. Assassin's Creed 2, Uncharted 2, Prototype, and Infamous, I forgot, came out the same year. Ratchet and Clank. What is this one? A Crack in Time. That was a very good one. I think that was the first one I played. This is crazy, man. Killzone 2? Where? Killzone 2. Plants and Zombies. I remember when I thought this was such a joke when it came out, and I think it's still around. I don't see Killzone 2. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Age of Conan MMO started that year. Absolutely crazy, dude. This is such a... Okay, let's do this for the 20s now. Let's look at 2022. What games came out? All right. What games came out? Elden Ring, very good, very good. God of War Ragnarok. I actually don't know how good this game was. I don't know if it was considered as good as the original reboot they did. I know this wasn't considered as good as the original. Stray was pretty good. Saints Row was a flop. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, not really the Uncharted it was before. The Quarry was cool. Pentiment was definitely a killer. That was a good one. But none of these, except for I would say like Elden Ring, I don't think any of these hit as hard as the ones that we were just freaking out about. Damn, man. Wait, hold on. I mean, even look at this parallel. The Callisto Protocol came out in 2022, meant to basically be a spiritual reimagining of Dead Space, which I'm pretty sure came out in like... When did Dead Space come out? It's like, it's almost poetic. Dead Space came out in 2008. So we're literally looking at the spiritual successor to a game that defined a genre for the new age, for the modern gaming era, and it completely flopped because it was just a performance and technical nightmare. And it's just sad to see that that's how releases have changed that much, man. Like, it's just, it's too much. They're doing too much. Daryl, thank you for the super chat. You're late to the party. Friday. Let's throw some $5 tomatoes at the Tomato Man. How we doing today, brother? Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. You're never too late. You're always on time. Conversation's going as it goes. We're just talking about... We're just reminiscing. Soaking in the nostalgia right now. Did anyone mention the Raylan yet? No. Was there some mention of the Raylan somewhere? There's articles where devs talk about the scale of games getting too big, too expensive. Yeah. And the expectations get too high. Like, they promise too much to gamers, so we as gamers obviously want more and more. And then they're like, oh wait, but we're still promising them this, but they're used to a release schedule, so we want to do the releases because we need to make enough money to satisfy our investors, but then their releases suck because they rushed it, because they're trying to do too much, because they're promising too much, because they want too much. And that's always the freaking problem. They just keep wanting too much. Stop. Just like settle on something that you want to make and make it. Stop trying to make the best thing every 2 years. Yeah, games like DDR and Guitar Hero. Me and Mrs. Tomato are saving up to get Rock Band again for our household, so that we can play that when people come over, and like just on our own, because we're big ass Rock Band nerds. Let's see. Let's look at 2010. Let's see. Was this just a 3-year fluke, or did it continue? In 2010, we got Red Dead Redemption. just a freaking, oh my god, even the sequels were hitting, dude. Fable 3, Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Mass Effect 2, Alan freaking Wake, BioShock 2, Metro 2033, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Dante's Inferno, Mafia 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Skate 3. I actually think this was one of the first not great Splinter Cells. Splinter Cell Conviction didn't actually do very well, unfortunately. Halo Reach. Just good times, man. I mean, Skyrim, I think, was 2011, yeah? It was just like, yes, this is pulling up all the best games from that year, but there's definitely a lot more games in these years that are like, oh shoot, these are good, than there are in the newer years. Like, we could even go to, say, 2016. Let's see what comes up here. Uncharted 4 was okay. Overwatch was a good release. Last Guardian didn't do too well. Titanfall 2 was a freaking incredible game. Goes down in history. Dishonored 2 was good. No Man's Sky was a bad release. Battlefield 1 was not a great release. Stardew Valley was very good. But you can already see like it kind of was starting to go downhill here. Still some good ones though. Stellaris, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Civ 6. I'm obviously very biased. You guys are probably seeing games that you're very excited about and games that I'm mentioning that you're not too satisfied with. Battlefield 1 was a good release? Was it? I thought this one was kind of rough for them. No, it was good. Right, yeah, this was the one where they focused a little bit more on the story. This one had a really cool intro. That's right, when you started the story and it showed the videos of the different people on the battlefield. That's right. So it was still doing okay here, but I think it had started to get old. Like, you were seeing games like Far Cry Primal, which weren't really hitting like they were supposed to. I think Mafia 3 kind of fell short of the Mafia. What made Mafia good? And then we jump forward to 2018. Ooh, Red Dead Redemption 2, solid. This is actually not bad. Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, Sea of Thieves. Shadow of the Colossus, was this a good release? I don't actually remember. God of War was pretty good. Kingdom Come Deliverance was... I think this one had a kind of rough release, but ended up having like a really popular following just because it was like very about what it was trying to be. Among Us was a killer. Fallout 76. Ah, yes. Was that a good release? You guys, did that do well? Do you remember that? I don't remember. I don't know. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Wow, I didn't realize that was 2018. But like more recent. So yeah, I mean, we could do this all day. Genuinely, I would. I love talking about old gaming. The 2000s were just such a great time. I don't know, maybe we should start playing some of these games again. These are just absolute killers. Oblivion. Yeah, 2006 was Gears of War. Not bad. Just Cause. Oh, I remember Black. Dead Rising. A fantastic entry into the zombie obsession we had during the late 2000s. Resistance Fall of Man. Oh, God. One of my favorite shooters. Bit of a sleeper. Age of Empires, Guitar Hero 2. I don't think I played Call of Duty 3. I think I was playing Medal of Honor at this time. You were working during the start of the stream. Any new ships announced or leaks out somewheres? No new ships announced. We just went over the possibilities of what they're talking about in the monthly report. I'm probably going to actually cut out the segment where I talk about ships and make it its own shorter video because the monthly report was like an hour and a half long. And we don't need all that. And I think people are probably interested in the ship stuff. He shines a light a lot on how Rockstar storytelling is. Kai? I gotta have him on again sometime soon. I don't know what I'd have him on about since we talked about everything that he watched Star Citizen wise, but he's a good conversation. Oblivion remake coming soon. I heard that actually might be good. That's so exciting. You know, that might be one of the few fantasy games that I would play on stream. I don't know when I would have time to do that. But Oblivion was the game that got me into RPGs. I'm pretty sure. It was either this or Knights of the Old Republic, but I'm pretty sure I played this first. Because all I had was an Xbox back then. And this changed everything. I mean, this is probably what guided my game obsession behind Halo. The next game would probably have been Oblivion because this is what kind of turned me on to RPGs and immersive sims and stuff. Hey, Matt Sully, how you doing? I've never played Urban Assault. I haven't heard of that. All right, y'all. This has been a great talk. Love just chatting with you. We'll have to do this again some other time. No, we'll be back on Monday with some good chatting and talking and looking at the news of the day and kind of what's going on Star Citizen wise. I've been really enjoying the Monday streams of the last month or so. And the format I think has been working quite well to break out into videos for people to be able to watch on their off time. So we're going to keep doing that, and maybe at some point we'll start breaking out into more of this kind of stuff, just general gaming and not just Star Citizen. But I will be back with you tomorrow on stream for some gameplay. Maybe we'll be doing some stuff with the org. Joining us for the mission tomorrow? I would like to. We have a protest to get to tomorrow at about this time, so I'll be ending my stream early tomorrow, but I would love to jump in with the org for a bit because I will be able to stream for probably a couple of hours. When is that? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Yeah, I think I could join for a little bit. A cool little bit. That should be fun. And then, yeah, we'll be back on Monday. We'll be talking and doing stuff and getting the latest news. Wednesday, we'll be back again with gameplay. I'll probably have a new guest on the stream and then cooking stream, baby. I'm hoping that we can get some cookies. I really want to make cookies. I've not had good homemade chocolate chip cookies in a little while now. Bassin, that makes you excited. Peace out, everybody. Thank you. What are we protesting? Kind of how shitty things are going for the country right now. Been to a few. We've been to 2 American and 1 Turkish protests this year. 'Tis the year of protests. Hey man, as long as we can, to be quite honest. As an American who lives in Turkey, a lot of the time, I can see how quickly we can lose the ability to protest, so I'm gonna still do it while I can. I think that's pretty important to at least exercise and get used to. I've been meeting some people at these protests too that are like, oh, I haven't protested in like 30 years. It's different now. And it's like, yeah, if you ever want to be able to, it's at least good to know how it works. I was gonna put on my garden pin, but it's not going in my shirt. Will I be in the West Coast in October? Likely, yes, but we're gonna be probably doing something ourselves. So, we'll be having a little thing over here, a little garden con, tomato con. Get out of here, Anansi. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I'm going to send you over to 5-star. Actually, hold the phone. I'm going to send you to Bugnagus. I haven't rated this guy in a while. Love you, Spider. Y'all are great people. Hope you had a wonderful day today. Enjoyed the stream. Enjoy the continuing of Star Citizen content. I'm sending you over to somebody else who is playing the game, so you get a little bit of a different stream now. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Treat yourselves well. Eat something you love. Hug somebody you love. Do something you love. Treat yourselves well. You deserve it. You're good people. See you tomorrow. Bye.